Hello, gamers, and welcome to Swim or Sink number 203, our cool, very Splat Zones only edition. There we go. I'm Cater, and I'm joined today by my lovely co-commentator, Radi. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good tonight. It's my first time commentating SOS, so pretty excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Well, we've got some familiar faces in our first round of Nessie's pools here. We've got Birds of Paradise with the lovely Untitled Goose Game logo there with Skep, Bit, Rush, and Yumta. And then on the side of Aura Blast, we have Mystic Infinity, Omazen, Rose, and Sawyer. Many of these are familiar faces to me, so I cannot... Of course, IPL's very own Skep, specifically. So can't wait to see what they bring here.
Yeah, I was literally, while I was playing Open before this tournament started, was playing with Mystic in Open, so that's fun.
Nice. Well, hopefully you got some good warm-up games in, because we are going into our best of three, and of course zones only set, starting with Splat Zones on Ship-Shape Cargo Company.
I personally find this map pretty fun. I get a lot of cooler, so it makes me happy.
Oh, cooler. What do you play?
I play Pen. I'm a Pen main.
I'm a headed main, so...
Oh,
oh no! Oh, come on, I respect the Pen. I understand it. It's just not for me.
That's
I don't
fair.
vibe with it. I'm a Splatling player through and through.
It's funny because I don't play Edit, but I play V Heavy as well.
I love V Heavy. I am V
so
Heavy's
silly.
biggest fan. Actually, maybe not. Maybe the person named V Heavy is V Heavy's biggest fan. At least I can say I'm V Heavy's second biggest fan because I love that weapon. But there's a Pen. Let's take a look at the general comps we've got here.
Ooh, no cooler.
Oh yeah, Yumta bringing out that ZF charger for the wall and the strikes, so that is going to be very interesting to look at. Of course, Sawyer on that side of Aura Blast does have the pencil. We've also got the 52, the decav, classic fighting weapons here. Skep, of course, on that Blob Lobber, classic move from them. Love to see it. Their Blob gameplay is really something.
I didn't expect to see a Blobber in SOS tonight, but I'm all here for it. Stamper and the decav immediately just rushing in to the enemy team's core. Loses the fight to that blob. That's rough.
It really is. Oh, we got another trade coming out here. Still,
nice
though,
trade.
yeah, person advantage for Aura Blast right now. Infinity in a very strong position on this Stamper. Has that Zipcaster at the ready as well. You can see Sawyer is fighting Skep all the way on that upper left-hand side. Yumta is also up there. As Birds of Paradise makes their way with this rain towards the zone, Zipcaster ends, and Yumta has these strikes as well. Has to get out of court. Oh, but these fights in court, they can't escape. Skep going down as well, and that's a 3-down situation on Birds of Paradise. Infinity making that a delayed wipe.
It's looking like it's going to be possibly 100-0 knockout if Birds of Paradise cannot break out of this lockout that they're in.
Ooh, that's 2 down.
Ooh, that's 2 down. They have strikes as well. They're probably going to get... I hope they can get the zone.
I hope so as well. It looks like they do. They get that flip and that pick on Omazen as well. So they are in a good place, especially with Rush having this crab, gonna crab from the super high ground here, looking down into court, trying to get these picks on the players of Aura Blast coming in from the left side here. Not finding the picks they wanted, dropping in. Does get one after the fact, though. Getting clear on that head, unfortunately. Skep being the only one left alive, forced to retreat, especially with these whales chasing them out here. Meanwhile, we've got Weatherman going to push up here with this 52 gal. Classic fighting weapon, unfortunately, going to get taken. But I didn't even... You know what? I didn't even clock the Brella on the side of Birds of Paradise. I was so focused on the ZF charger that I did not clock the presence of the Brella here. But it's there, and it's doing work.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's been... The decav and the Brella have had an oddly... I haven't seen a single bubble on the side of Birds of Paradise yet, and it's so rough into double sword. Gets the pick on that Stamper, though. Nice.
Yeah, if there's anybody I trust with the Brella, it's BitJ, and they are doing a great job here. Rush here, trying to go into that zone and rush it, as is in their name. Going into the crab here, loses a couple teammates, so they have to get the zone flip here, and they do, applying that penalty all the way back up to 55. Some more breathing room for Birds of Paradise as they start making their way back into mid.
That was an incredible cap. Oh, double from the dually. Can they make that a triple? They might get the jump. No, the 52 from the bottom left is able to get them.
Yeah, very much so. Infinity, again, has that Zipcaster at the ready. We might see it out from them. They do have to get out of this pit first. Not able to, unfortunately. Skep here, looking to get on this top right side and use that high ground, but has to be wary of Sawyer on that pen across, and Oma on that decav as well, popping the rain to hopefully get some more paint that they can work with. Let's see.
Bomber is going after that pen.
Yes, they are. Oh, unfortunately, Skep getting taken out there. That's a 3-down situation on Birds of Paradise as this timer ticks to 0. We've got Bubble Ditto on both sides of the zone here, but the Whale's coming out for Aura Blast as well. That is going to be the knockout for them.
That's GG's, yeah. That was a very solid game from both teams.
Definitely.
I was flabbergasted when I saw that blob, the ZF blob blobber recycled Brella comp.
I mean, honestly, Skep is the one person that I do expect the blob from because they are very consistent with the blob blobber.
Yeah.
Anybody else, I might be a little surprised, but I saw Skep. I knew we were going to see that blob blobber, and it's great. It's a breath of fresh air to see a weapon that's not so commonly played and be able to commentate over it.
Yeah, I quite enjoy seeing off-meta picks, especially the recycled. I personally don't enjoy fighting it, but
oh no,
I see it has potential. I feel like it gets very overshadowed by things like Dekev and I guess even Junior, just because of how the shield is kind of non-existent.
Yeah, sometimes.
Shredded.
But if it's not getting shredded, it's very, very powerful tool, and I think they were using it well.
Yeah. Just into that double sword, it's very rough.
Yeah, definitely a little rougher. Well, we're going to Splat Zone's Umami, which is just a little different, plays a little different, mostly because of that dual zone, so teams might have to split their focus a little bit here. I do wonder if we're going to continue to see the ZNF charger pick, or if we'll possibly see a swap to Pen or some other charger like that.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they stuck with Zekofin here. They could run something other than that recycled, maybe for a cooler option, just because I do feel like that is part of why they were able to just get rushed down and locked out so easily, is because cooler against no cooler, especially at this level of play, it's just almost always fighting a losing battle. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was a cooler pick on the side of, I'm blanking on the names right now, Birds of Paradise.
Yeah, especially when you have a dedicated cooler player like that Pencil was, you have the ability to rush in and take those dangerous fights and be a little bit more reckless with the fights and the picks that you attempt to get, because if you're coolered, you're punished a lot less for dying. Not to mention, you know, all of the other buffs that
the mobility, the super jump, the intensify, your perfect jump accuracy. Blasters love it.
Yeah, as a headed player, I love jumping out when I'm cooler. It's just like I can go in, get myself in a situation, and X down A and instantly leave. It's awesome. But we are going to head into our second game of our best of 3 set. Let's see if we have any comp switches here. Looking the same. No comp switch on that one.
Same comps. Is that recycled? No, it's the same comp.
All right. Well, we are going to get in it. That we had the V dualies last time. Yes, I believe we did. We saw crabs and such. So both of these teams, we're going to see them go for their respective zones and cap them pretty much instantly. Oh, we do have an early pick on that 52 gal, though. And despite that, Aura Blast is first to take the zone. However, you can see all of this paint coming out from Birds of Paradise here. You can see BitJ trying to take that left zone. Oh, but a nice pick on Rush there. The Skep able to pop that Rain. Infinity a little bit cornered right there, and so choosing to jump out to a teammate. Omazen, meanwhile, coolered and going to go the far way around. Gets instantly called out, though, by that ZF charger. Nice.
Nice. That would have been an incredible bubble, and that would have possibly gotten them quite a lead. So happy that this game gets to be extended.
Yes, definitely. Rush here in the crab, having to move around because of, I believe that's Infinity over there on the decaf, I think. Anyway, lead is flipped, and oh, we've seen a double there coming out here from Weatherman on that gal, going to turn that into a triple, getting that on Rush. Is rushing down Yum. We might see a quad here. Yum does able to jump out, so no quad there. But meanwhile, we've got specials being popped. We've got the Zipcaster, we've got the Bubble Infinity in an extremely aggressive position here.
Wilds.
Can you? Is that supposed to happen? Did they clip through the wall?
I mean, it's Zipcaster, you can do it, so...
That's true. Zipcaster more like Clipcaster. Anyway, we've still got okay, no, they did get taken out, but there was a member of Aurablast on the far top side there, and Rush, extremely damaged, still going to pop this
incredibly aggressive
here. Unfortunately getting taken out here by Weatherman, who lands another double, going to whale this last member. And this is where Umami, you can really struggle if you're forced into the lockout here. Yumta not able to back up far enough on those grates and getting taken out. And we are now 20 and remaining. Weatherman is not letting up. Skep finally shutting that down. But is there enough time as Skep gets taken out by Infinity? And despite the rain, there's only Rush on those dualies left.
Yeah, just... the comp from Birds of Paradise it's very susceptible to getting just locked down like that, especially against Cooler. So they played incredibly well, but it's just nothing much they could have done.
Oh, excuse me, this is best of 3, not play all 3. I had misspoken. Well, with a fist bump to seal the deal, that is going to be... Wait.
Is it play all 3? I thought it was best of 3.
It's best of 3. Yes, I misspoke earlier. It is best of 3. I think I said play all 3 earlier in the set, but that is our set 2-0 in favor of Aurablast. But of course, we are in pools, so no elimination yet.
Exactly. I'm hoping to see a few teams here do very well that I am personally friends with. Let me look at the roster again.
Oh, definitely.
Quite a few.
Yeah, there's a lot of names that show up in SOS every week, and it's really nice to see recurring players and teams, especially when they grow and progress through making higher brackets, getting better placements. It's great to see the scene grow. I also got a lot of friends here tonight. Now, I do believe we can take a short break while we set up, unless our streamer objects, we can take a short break while we set up the next round. All right. We will be right back in just a couple of moments. Do stay tuned.
Hello, everybody. We're back with SOS 203 with Bite Reality versus Sendou is My Glorious King on Hagglefish Zones. Back with my host, Cheddar.
Hello, everybody. It's me, Cater, and we are back with two more teams in Nezzy's Pools here. We've got Bite Reality with Boo Boo, Madison, Zex, and Ichigo on one side, and the other one, Sendou is My Glorious King, with Piner, Sendou, who is not Sendou, that is Dreamy Vimo, Silver, Akaza, and Nightmare.
Yeah. I still will not get over that their name is Sendou on Sendou. But
Guys, it's real Sendou.
Guys, Sendou is real!
Really? I thought it was just a construct that manages the site.
Yeah, that's what it is. But like, this is a real Sendou. Brush Mummy is Sendou, trust.
That's crazy, real Sendou. All right.
That's like the real Sendou.
the real Sendou.
When the Sendou is queuing.
Guys, he said the thing. Sendou is Q. Okay. Well, Bite Reality and Sendou is My Glorious King will be playing first off on Hagglefish Market. That is where our set is starting today. We've also got Crab Leg Zones, which that is definitely a map of all time. And if we go to a game 3, we'll see Mako Mark.
I need people to stop with the disrespect on Crab Leg Zones.
Hey,
Crab
I didn't say it was a bad map. I just said it was a map. I don't mind Crab Leg. I play Splat Leg. I'm fine with running around on the grates. We hashed this out before. We're both cooler Anchor players. It's fun.
Yeah, no one will ever match my love for Crab Leg. Crab Leg and Mincemeat are low-key my favorite maps in the entire game.
I mean, I can see why. Like, it makes sense. Personally, I really like playing Umami, specifically with my team, though.
That's valid. I think Mincemeat is unironically my highest win rate map in the entire game. Just on average, I think I win, like, I had like, because it was 2 rotations, it was Mincemeat, and I had like a 32 wins, not a 32. It was total win streak, I had like 32, but like, I think 18 of those wins were on specifically with Mincemeat.
That's crazy to specialize in Mincemeat.
Bro, I don't specialize in one weapon. I specialize in a map. Get on my level.
Yeah. No, I don't think I will. I'll stick to my edit, thank you.
Aw, you're no fun.
Well, I do also... Hagglefish, I will say, is one of my favorite maps, personally. There's something about it that I really like. None of the maps, personally, in my opinion, will hit the same as some of the Splatoon 2 maps, though I dearly miss Schellendorf Institute.
That's valid. I remember just... I remember that map being a map, indeed.
It really was.
It was a map.
That top glass portion of Special Ed Plans really was a map of all time. And
that was silly. I love
it was.
That
I can see why they didn't bring it back. I can see why they didn't bring back the concept, but nevertheless, I still miss it.
There was a lot of concepts in Splatoon 2 that I'm really happy they didn't bring back. Stingray. But you know, I mean, we have other global range specials. It's fine.
Yay! Glad they didn't bring back Ink Armor, because that would... Okay, well, we don't have to worry about that. Let's take a look at our comps here. We've got another Stamper. We've got 96 Deco Pens on both sides. And of course, Sendou himself, definitely Sendou, bringing out that ink brush here. Ink brush Nouveau with that Mind Stamper.
Respawn Punisher Gambit.
That's
Respawn Punisher Gambit brush. Okay.
Okay. Door Sendou. Let's take a look at the opening here. Wow, we've already got a stamp that has destroyed the wall.
I'm flabbergasted. Bye-bye, Gambit.
Bye-bye, Gambit.
The pen goes down on the side of Bite Reality. Akaza on the left rushing that shot. Oh, rough. Wall's very strong in that weapon.
Yeah, looking to camp the Zip recall, I believe, although it looks like the Zip was already taken out by another teammate. Simply just going to paint the zone here, but we do have this is a long time for the zone to be neutralized, especially in this early game here. Oh, we have the Kraken, though, getting that pick on Brush Mummy and looking to go deeper in here. Ichigo on this 96, just going to use the walls for cover, go underneath this canopy here, working together with their teammates, going back for Cooler as well. Nice there. You absolutely know their pen called it down, was like, guys, come get Cooler now! And now they are going in deep for these picks, getting one, looking for the second, does get a jump pick, and is just going to, very aggressive there.
96 does go down. It is such an aggressive powerhouse, especially on maps like this. It can just completely dominate an area. That Zipcaster does come out. Looks like the pen's gonna try and shoot, but they miss, sadly.
Yeah, unfortunate, but it does mean that the pen gets displaced. Oh, there's a counter Zipcaster actually coming out from Bite Reality. Does get one pick, and that is 2 down on Sendou's My Glorious King. Bite Reality very nicely in control of this zone right now. Yeah, Ichi getting another one of those Krakens out here, just fully chasing out Fighter here on the corner, getting them, and with that 3 down situation, that is going to be our first game.
Respawn Punisher Gambit Brush was not something I thought I'd see in the year 2025, but
I'm gonna be honest, I can understand the thoughts behind Gambit Brush. Like, I've seen Sploosh, I've seen Sploosh players run Gambit for the funny and just go, or even for the not funny, and just go for those picks, because opening Gambit can be pretty powerful if you are confident in being able to get those opening picks, but pairing it with Respawn Punisher is definitely something.
Yeah, Respawn Punisher Gambit is something that I will say, I'm kind of tempted to try it on Pen, but...
Well, I mean, it is Pen. It does die a little. It expects to die a little less than Brush, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's the question of, do I want to be a jerk or do I not want to be a jerk? That.
I mean, it does make your entire gear set into incentivizing you to go for kills.
Yeah. I mean, from what I've experimented with it, I still get quite a few cooler, so.
I will say, like, do you think you would feel... I feel like if I were to play something like that on Brush, though, I would feel the loss of mobility things like swim speed and something else. And I'm not sure how that would translate to playing Pen, but I know if I tried that on Head-Ed, I would definitely feel the loss of my run speed.
Yeah, Gambit Carbon was something that a teammate of mine introduced to me a while back. I did try it out, and you feel it. If you don't just rush in and immediately get a pick, half of your gear is just worthless. You feel like it's so slow.
I feel like especially with Respawn Punisher Gambit, because Respawn Punisher specifically only triggers on death or on kill, right? The other time it's just a main kind of sitting there. And then Gambit, if you are not able to keep the duration going, it is also another main that's just kind of sitting there. So I feel like I would definitely feel the loss of those gear abilities. But hey, if you feel like wanting to kill, maybe it's something that you're interested in. We're gonna head to Crab Leg Capital. Hope you're excited about this. Let's see what the Pens have to say. All right, we got.
Ooh, the bucket instead of the 52 from Akaza. Same comp on the side.
That's all intensify action. I don't remember what intensify action does for Brush. I'm going to be so real.
It does absolutely nothing for Brush to my knowledge. I think the only thing that it helps is squid rolls and squid like that. That is.
It makes it easier to do. Well, there we go. Another instant stamp from Sendou here. Goes a little bit better than before, but still nothing there. And that is a 3 down situation on Sendou. Is my Glorious King. Unfortunately, the Glorious King himself does not seem to be doing too well with 3 mains of intensify action. But we will see how the rest of this match plans out as the Glorious King has the stamp again. There, just stops to absolutely throw that into mid. Noelle here sitting on this, the Zuka, as well as having the bubble from their teammate, is just chilling there. This is all
my Glorious King is selling. No,
our Glorious King. Oh, I think the Glorious King is going into the zone, maybe? At least Peter is trying to go into the zone. Oh, yes, there's Sendou over there. Gets taken out of the pit, unfortunately. Cannot solo the zone. Decaf doing their best alive on zone. Does get one pick.
Another knockout.
Not quite able to get that neutralization that late in the game. And Bite Reality with a quite convincing 2-0 against Sendou is my Glorious King. I feel like your Glorious King might be suffering a little here, gang.
I think your Glorious King is moderately to severely crippled. Help them, please. That was. I have no words. It was a glorious match. Heart-beating.
I hope they had a good time at the very least. Sometimes you just gotta let the silly out. You gotta let the silly out, and you gotta have some fun. And so I do hope that Sendou is my glorious king had fun with that and supporting the glorious king. And I hope that my reality enjoys their settlement here in pools. Well,
I'm running out of things to say about full intensify and respawn Punisher Gambit Brush.
We're gonna take a break and catch our breath so that you can understand us without us laughing, and we'll be right back with Charity versus Cherry up top in just a couple seconds. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Nessie's Pools and Swimmer Sync number 200. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Nessie's Pools and Swimmer Sync number 203. We are in round 3 of pools. If you're just joining us, I'm Kater, joined by my lovely co-commentator, Radi. How you doing?
I'm doing very well right now after that last set. That was just glorious.
Oh man, yeah, you gotta get a laugh out sometimes with Sendou the Glorious King himself running some abilities on Brush. That was a set of abilities that you might not expect to see there. Triple Intensify action, not necessarily considered the most optimal thing, but that set is behind us, and now we've got two wonderful teams here. On one side, Charity with Allegro, Carlos, Mirage, and Sota. On the other side, Cherry up top with Noff24, Josh, Nerdy, Adam, and Blaster. And I believe this is a merge of Ball up top, which is... I know Nerdy Adam is on Ball up top, and I'm not entirely sure if anybody else is. And perhaps another team with Cherry in the name. I'm trying to check here.
I'm also checking. I wonder what Blaster plays.
Actually, I'm looking at Blaster right now, and there are no Blasters listed on the Sendou page. Some dualies and mini Splatling. So we might be getting scammed by Blaster here.
SMH, the Rage Bait.
We'll say it also says they're a handheld player there, which is very impressive to me.
What?
Because I can't see anything on the handheld screen. I know it's a skill issue, definitely a skill issue, but it's too small for me to process all the information I need to in a short amount of time.
Honestly, that is completely fair. I used to be a -5, player. And
on handheld?
On handheld.
How are your wrists alive?
I was a 6 player. I played -5.
Oh, that's right. Your sticks, right? You don't need to move your wrists. Ugh.
Yeah, for the longest time, I just didn't have a Switch dock, and so I understand the pains of handheld.
Yeah, I used to, when I played casually in Splatoon 2, a lot of my hours were on handheld until I started getting into competitive, and then I switched to monitor for good, because I need to process the information from the top bar, and if I'm squinting at my screen like a comedically nearsighted person, then I can't see it. But anyway, let's take a quick look at our maps that we're going to be seeing in this last best of 3 set. Actually, is it the last set of pools? It is, right? Yeah, it's the last round of pools. All right. We've got Mahi zones, museum zones, and barnacle zones.
All very, besides museum, very slider-hungry maps, I will say, especially Mahi.
Definitely, we might be seeing
couple sharks.
We might be seeing the zone trees, but hey, sharks, that would be in theme with SOS. After all of our brackets are named after sharks. Let's take a look. Yep, there's Blaster on that mini Splatling. No blasters to be seen here. We do have that Carbon Deco coming out from Noth, as well as the Stamper, so both of those weapons going to be super dive happy. That's double burst for them as well. On the side of Charity, we got that Vanilla Nautilus. It's been sitting pretty since that rain buff. Extremely wide rain going to cover that whole zone. And yes, we have another brush. That is the Vanilla Ink brush here. That's a 3-down situation, yeah, here, like you said, on Cherry up top, with Carlos here on this Nautilus going to push up with their teammates. Mirage here on that pen, popping that cooler as well. It looks like they are just opting to sit back a little bit and wait for Cherry up top to fall into their traps, which might have worked a little bit countering in their favor because they get 2 down. We've got a lot of picks going up on this right side of the map here, and here are the strikes. Water level already going to drop as Charity reaches that 50-point mark.
I will say that backlist for Cherry up top, it makes it very hard for them to drop on this map. They have a lot of range from that Stamper, but Zap in the Carbon, it's such a range difference, and it makes it really hard to push up from the crazy Zipcaster kill from Mirage. Immediately just going back to poking that left drop.
Yeah, the poking game here out from the pen is real. They're really doing their job very well. We had the Zuka, but unfortunately they are going to get that pick there. The members of Cherry up top diving for that zone, not quite able to neutralize it in time, unfortunately.
Yeah, you'd think that a map like this you would be much short range preferred, but longer range weapons are still incredibly powerful on this map, especially ones like Pencil.
Yeah, definitely. The sheer output as well as just the area control that it has means that, like you said, it gets a lot more difficult to drop into them because they have the paint laid down already. They are able to just kind of look at you and you have to deal with it.
Mm-hmm. Weapons like... Honestly, I'm kind of surprised that it's not picked more, but Inkling, or just not specifically Inklinger, but Bow as a weapon is incredibly good on Mahi in my experience. You can kind of just sit at any, just drift between the 2 drop points and just spam your half shots, like your half charges, and they can't really drop without getting just immediately picked off by any of your teammates.
Straight up, I think it's just because there's not a lot of bow players.
Yeah, it's sad because it's such a great weapon, and I love that weapon so much. It is,
sweet. But especially as you get to top level, there's really not a lot. I think I feel like the highest bow player I know is Ancient Wings. I don't know if there's any well-known bow players above that level, but I do really enjoy watching Wings' gameplay.
Yeah. Arito and Wings are
Oh yes, Arito, of course. I was like, I know that's somebody I missed.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you don't know Arito, but you know Ancient
Look, okay, I run in production circles, and Ancient Wings is also a streamer and a spec cam operator. So that's why Ancient Wings comes to mind before Arito, because I don't follow Splatoon content, I follow Splatoon production.
That's fair.
But here we are. Was that Slosher here last game? Trying to remember.
Was here last game.
Okay, cool.
So on those ledges, immediately dropping right. By the way, just going after that not the Nautilus with a Zap.
Yeah, unfortunately.
On the right.
Oh man, this Carbon absolutely farming those ledges. Getting taken out here by Carlos, though. We do have, the trade with Blaster there. Sherry up top on that zone. And you can see Nerdy Adam taking advantage of being cooler to take this very aggressive position on the other team's spinner as well, getting a couple picks out of that as well before getting, or not picks, just taking attention before they get taken out themselves. We're going to see a couple drops on right here, Soda, with those strikes on the zone. 2 down on both sides right now, so it's a 2v2 situation on the board. Oh, Soda does get taken out, though.
They have a hammer, too. Nice dodge from that pen. Looking like the brush is going to... Oh, God, that pen is insane. Just constantly just punishing every single mistake that the enemy team makes. Again, it's just an issue with range where the enemy team can't really push that pen super hard without specials, and they can't get the specials without pushing up a little bit to paint more, so...
Yeah, looks like Carlos here has Rain. We're probably going to see that soon, as they're going to get into a good situation to push into this opposing spinner there. Rain does get popped. You can see the onslaught of orange ink as Carlos makes that jump to spinner and is pushing back Nerdy Adam, who does get taken out there. The members are actually a little bit split right now, with Allegro watching that flank there and the pen in the middle here, though Soda coming to join Carlos on that spinner, and now they are regrouped. We've got the whale at the ready. We've got the strikes coming in. There's the hammer, but they managed to avoid it, and now the lead has swapped to Charity, as Soda still holding on to the strikes in this very advantageous position up here on the spinner that is just inked completely orange. I think they might just go in for try and use their main weapon and get more picks here.
I honestly feel like they might be holding it in case of any kind of possible situation where they're gonna need to...
Oh, speaking of possible situation.
Yeah, now would be the time, but they're down. I'm hoping that pen player is able to just... they're gonna have to back up here. Just all forget about it. They go down. Ooh, that was
unfortunate.
A clean kill.
Yeah, not quite able to back out quickly enough, but that means Cherry up top nicely in control here. And yeah, like you said, those strikes would have been very, very useful in that situation. But speaking of specials, we've got the strikes, we've got the rain. That is a stamp coming out on the side of Cherry up top, but one pick goes down. Blaster found out in that little alley corner over there. Carlos absolutely not letting up, forcing that jump out from Nerdy Adam, getting another pick as well. And that is right back to Charity, and immediately Carlos on that spinner again, joined by Allegro this time. Noth, though, has again an immediate response to that, just saying, I know what you're going to do, you can't do it. Blaster is charging up this stamp here, so not likely that we're going to see a pushback from Cherry up top, especially now that they are cooler. 2 down on the side of Charity. There it is, that's what you'd like to see. 2 down on the side of Charity still. Joshu opting for a little recall back to that Zipcaster there, and we have another stamp here. They're not taking that flat area, though, opting to shark under this ledge instead. And I don't know about you, but 2 teammates sharking in the same place might not be the greatest idea.
I see some issues with it, especially against something like a bucket and a brush, but...
Well, it seems to have worked out a little bit. They did get that stamp pick, but Knopf ended up coming in to do the cleanup work there. Picked up the cooler. Unfortunately, going down, they're not able to squid roll out of that. Carlos, nice pick there.
Carlos does also go down. They are at a deficit of paint without that Nautilus, just providing so much pressure as well. They might be able to get lead back here. Cherry up top.
Yeah, we will see if this lead does flip as we get closer and closer to those single digits. That is 1 down on both sides, 2 down on the side, and Soda is...
DC maybe?
Standing? Disconnecting? Lagging perchance? Not entirely sure what's going on, but that is zone 2 Cherry up top.
Is able to take back that zone in the last bit of fighting. That was...
That is a rough time to, whether it was controller or connection issues, very unfortunate time to have that as they had dropped there. But with that is Cherry up top taking our second match and bringing our set 1-1.
That was a very awkward ending to that match, but very conclusive.
Well, you know, both of those, it was a close ending. We were seeing those.
Close ending.
We might have seen a lead swap, but I do think that it was definitely possible for Cherry to have flipped the zone back to them and continued the match there. It honestly depended on how they were able to just position themselves and take not necessarily risky fights, but just try and push the enemy team back without, like, diving. Like, it's hard to explain, but it's a way to it. I see the way. It's just very rough. It is, yeah. You have to get that aggression in and take those picks without mindlessly diving or feeding the other team. And it can be very difficult, especially in high-octane situations like that, when you have no choice but to drop into the enemy team to go for that objective. Because that puts you at a disadvantage. All right,
I will say
final map here. Oh, yes, go on.
I will say that on maps like Museum, where the zone is just, it's very big. Like, people, you tend to not think of it because of the spinner being in the middle, and that thing's huge, but it is it is a very large zone. And dying anywhere, even, especially in the zone, it is detrimental to winning that zone fight. It can make or break it.
Yeah, definitely. I was on Golden Paddling Pool with Dabble earlier, and we also saw, that was also all zones, so we saw Museum zones a few times, and just the sheer amount of time it takes to cap that zone, especially when you're being contested by even one person, it almost feels like being Sisyphus trying to roll the boulder up the hill, right? It's like, you get one side of the zone painted, you go to the other side, and the other side's been painted over, and then you have to go back, right? But, of course, with team control, and especially if you have control of that spinner, it gets a lot easier to cap.
Exactly.
Of course, though, we are done with Museum, and we are headed to Barnacle for our last match, Game 3 of this set. Barnacle and Dime, very wide, very flat. How do you feel about that?
I feel like it puts both teams at a very... Given the comps that they've been running, I feel like they're both fairly equal in terms of just being able to get in. I wouldn't be surprised if one of them switched out for more of a longer range weapon, though, on the side of Cherry up top, because Barnacle is very strong with longer range weapons like a pencil or a leader or even a Zekofin. It's very long range favored, and it's also incredibly open, which makes it easier to hit those shots.
Well, let's take a look here. No changes there. We are going to... There's the leader. Nerdy Adam. Also, we are bringing out the Fro Pro there, and then Noff switching to that, back to that decaf. Blaster sticking on that mini Splatling. So we've got a couple swaps here for Cherry up top. See how that favors them. I love watching leader gameplay. I am very excited to see how that pans out for Joshu here, especially like you said, with the openness, the range, the area control that can be afforded to this charger here.
Yeah, immediately they are just taking complete control of that right street of theirs. They can also just completely dominate. Oh, what do you see?
Ooh, okay. Well, that will be replayed, so we're going to see a couple jumps and reset that match. We do see a leader, though, so you were correct in predicting that long-range swap, and I was going to say I do think they may swap off that Carbon as well. I think that swap is definitely fair.
Carbon is very strong there, but it's just their comp struggles to get it in, especially on larger maps like Barnacle and Museum. I can understand it for Mahi, but it's just, once that tide drops, it is so hard, especially with running a fairly low, like, effective paint comp like that. It's very hard to get it in. That's why you mostly see Carbon paired with Pencil. It is able to get it in and just able to and activate its teammates so well.
Yeah, definitely. I will say I do think the switch to Fropro there is also interesting. You get the missiles there, but also a little bit longer of the range for similar reasons that we mentioned earlier. Yeah. Well, hopefully we don't have any more internet issues.
I'm hoping not. Had almost a DC at the end of the last game, and then
we've got to pray to the Wi-Fi gods and hope that our connection holds strong so that we can see this set through, because it has been a very interesting set so far. These teams evenly matched. We've got some great back and forth and also great individual moments from players as well. I just don't want it to be decided by, you know, the internet gods. Like you said, it makes for a very awkward ending and unfortunate.
It is. I have had and seen so many sets just lost because of disconnections, and it is always just so it is so unsatisfying and just not fun to have it end like that, especially when it's a tie-up right now. It could go either way. I'd argue that these teams are almost entirely evenly matched in terms of skill. I love sets like this. It is just like back and forth constantly between who is going to win, especially that last game.
Oh yeah, definitely. That last game was a tug of war. I just hope that, you know, we will be able to see this last game through.
Yeah.
Let's see, we saw the... I'm trying to think if we saw any other weapon changes. We talked about the Fro Pro, we talked about the leader.
One thing that I'm kind of surprised about is they didn't run the Zuka Mini, I don't believe. I think it was just...
Oh, yes, they're on V-Mini again.
They're on V-Mini. Yeah, I might be wrong about that, but I don't remember seeing it. It might have been on Mahi. Oh. We just got word that no one has rejoined yet.
Well, it's just a slight delay. Hopefully we'll be able to get the match set up. We'll stay updated. Meanwhile, did you know, little factoid that I figured out, that apparently all of these Shifty Station names from Splatoon 2 are book puns? I did not realize this until very recently when somebody was talking about them and went, oh yeah, the Maze Dasher, Bridge to Tenta Switchia, MC Princess Diaries, all of those are book names modified for the Splatoon universe. And that got me thinking, like, so many things in Splatoon and its games are just puns. Yeah. Like, did you know Ammo Knights was a pun?
I knew Ammo Knights was a pun.
Yeah, Ammo Knights, Callie and Marie is a pun. Shella Fresh. Yes, Calamari.
Marina and Pearl are also very punny. I like that.
Yeah, they are, like, ocean-related. Yeah. That's true. And then Shiver and Fry are kind of like opposites.
Shiver is a group of sharks. Fry is a group of, I know Shiver is a group of sharks.
Fry is a group of eels, I think?
I want to say it's eels.
That's why she's eel-themed, yeah?
Yeah, and then Big Man, he's just a goat like that. Big Man.
He's a big man.
He's a big man. I love Big Man.
I think Big Man's very self-explanatory. But even then, like, a lot of the shop names are puns as well. Some of the ability. I do think it's funny that it used to be called Squid Form, and then they were like, we're gonna call it Swim Form for Splatoon 3 because we have Octolinks, and then they immediately came out with Squid Roll and Squid Surge. Yeah. Like, okay, that's the same problem.
Yeah, it's like y'all are trying to be like.
You couldn't have called them a swim roll and swim surge. I guess that's a little awkward, but still, why not just keep Squid Form after all?
Yeah. I mean, I see why they're trying to why they changed it to swim form, because it is.
I do.
It makes sense with the lore, but it's Squid Roll and Squid Surge. It's. Yeah.
I do believe we are able to see bracket, or at least other groups here in our stream. So let's take a look at the other groups here. This is Group A. We have, which is what we watched earlier, Aura Blast and Birds of Paradise, the other sets that they had, and then Duck Motif, our first seed, which
it has wedge shell, so I'm not surprised.
No surprise there. Duck Motif is a very strong team.
Incredibly strong team. Very, very skilled team. I'm kind of surprised at how close all of these sets have been. 4 2-0s and only 2 2-1s so far.
No, this would be 3 sets. The chart is just to show which team fought which team. 3 sets are played per. No,
I mean, like there's only I'm wording it weird.
Oh, anyways, through both. Yeah. Okay, I see.
Anyways, we have a game.
Oh, we're so back, guys. We have a
game again. Hell yeah.
Let's take a look here. All right. Yes, Vanilla Brush, same comps. Yes, because this is a replay. Well, let's see how this opens.
Initially, but that leader is running Respawn Punisher, so it's going to be going for very aggressive positioning and picks here.
See, I think it makes sense for leader to run Respawn Punisher. I feel like that makes sense. Also, they're positioned on an entirely different side of the map than they were during the last opening. So we'll see how that shakes out for them. We've got the Killer Whales coming out. That is a 1 pick on the side of Cherry up top. There is a stamp throw. Ooh, very nice from Blaster here. Strikes coming out on
go down on the side of Charity.
Oh, you're right, yes.
Is going to have to capitalize off of that. They're going to have to move a lot faster, though.
They are slowly moving. That E-leader's moved up. Oh, Decaf falling victim to that double splat, unfortunately. So, and the mini going down there, too. We do get the missiles out. A lot of things from there. 1v2 situation on the board right now. Killer Whale's gonna get brought from the laser here. Yes, Blaster winning against the Brush here. And not Blaster the weapon, no, Blaster the mini Splatling, of course. Looking to get more picks in this alleyway here. Having to back up from the Slosher, though. Of course, they're shooting over that. We are already at 33 for Cherry up top. And yes, another hammer, like you said.
One with the hammer snipe. Oh my god.
Oh my goodness, a juicy snipe.
Just a massacre. Holy. Every time and either of them push up, it is just brutal.
Well, speaking of Masker, Allegro doing their best going in, but unfortunately not able to get anything past that pick on Nerdy Adam. We do have the strikes here coming in to neutralize that sendou, and with 2 remaining, Charity manages to run in and flip that. And you know what? I didn't even know our penalty could go to 75. That's the highest penalty I've seen.
I have seen it go higher in lag games. It's very fun. But yeah, they're just such an aggressive game because of that leader. Oh my god. This is just brutal on both sides. Both going for, besides the pen, going for these incredibly aggressive positions. Leader taking that top right area, just not getting the pick on the brush. That was a nice flick.
And I like the placement of the wave breaker here because you can see that gets another pick. It gives them so much information all the way into that top of that portion of the alley. And now Knopf, of course, taking that very aggressive position here up on top left. Nice bubble and this way to signal their teammates to follow. They do have to watch out for the killer whales though. But either way, this is a great position. Falling into the water, unfortunately, but still drawing attention and resources to them. Allegro there dropping into the pit, trying to get some paint for their special. We've got Joshu there back on the zone on that leader. Strikes go into the zone, but it's not much paint. They are not painted over though, and that is going to make it easier for Charity to neutralize if they are able to get here. But
winning against all odds, that many.
Yeah, I was going to say that Slosher really in position and yet unfortunately not able to get the pick.
This leader is able to just take such aggressive positions because of their comp, and just once they get set up, it is very hard to
I don't think you're supposed to be able to throw a hammer and have your mini splatling out at the same time. I think that breaks a little bit of the rules. But hopefully we've got our lag resolved by now, and we are able to see Sherry up top start again making this push. And like you said, that leader again consistently taking those far up, getting another pick there. You can see Soda trying to get something done, trying to span those bombs, but with Joshu having so much control over this area, and Blaster getting the snipe on that hammer again. They're just not able to get anything. The whales are going to come and displace this leader. Great thinking here. And we've got the rain as well, but they have to be faster because we're in the single digits, have to paint over the zone.
Oh my god, that match was intense. Just the complete back and forth. I loved how that leader played that game. That was incredible gameplay on the side of that leader. Just able to take those aggressive positions and hit the shots that they need to secure that victory with their teammates. Just incredible game from both sides. I'm kind of at a loss for words. That was
well, like you were saying, Barnacle and Dime favors those long-range weapons like the Charger, like the leader. And Josh was able to recognize that and say, hey, I can pull this out and we can make it work. And even with running Respawn Punisher, they were confident enough in their ability and their teammates to be able to go and take those aggressive positions and land those flicks.
That is absolutely correct.
What an end to groups.
That was I'm still like at a loss for words. Just every single set tonight has been just absolutely wild.
Here's the other teams in Group K, where Charity and Sherry up top, where we also have Freedom and Dainki, which is Dainki. Great team names here. You can see actually it looks like Cherry up and Charity being the only 2-1 result in this group.
Look to be that way. Just very evenly matched teams. Just having the range advantage on a map like Barnacle is so integral, and it's why Leader's seeing a lot of usage right now. It is able to just bully pencils like it did in that game, just not allowing them to push up and support their teammates as much as they need to be. It's an incredibly powerful weapon, and I feel like they had an incredible showing of just how strong it can be in a competitive setting.
Yeah, I think another one of the reasons that we're seeing a lot of 2-0s is because we are doing that zones only format, so things are going faster. There are more knockouts, perhaps, than there would be if we were playing all modes. But with that, pools is done. And so, you know what that means? We are going to be setting up top cut our brackets, Great White, Hammerhead, Mako, and Lantern. And we are going to be streaming round 1 of Great White next. We are going to set that up in just a couple of minutes, so stay tuned.
Hello everybody and welcome back to SOS 203. I'm here with you today with my lovely co-host Cheddar, and we are commentating round 1.6 of
I'm Cater. Nice to see y'all.
Oh my god.
I'm Mickey Mouse. They didn't want me to do this on stream, but I did it anyway.
You're so funny.
Anyways. I am. I do believe I am funny. Thank you very much.
You're so comedic, actually.
All right. Grace, our lovely TO and stream coordinator, wanted to stream Doritos Locos Tacos Supreme. So, and we do not have any pushback. So we are going to be seeing Dead Calm with Moon Breathing Hayden, Zach, Gray, and Goji versus Doritos Locos Tacos Supreme with Ace, S's, No Name, and Luis.
You know, personally, one of these team names sounds like my Taco Bell order. The other one sounds like something that I am when I'm just not in the mood for tacos.
Hey, yeah, Taco Bell, can I get a Dead Calm, please?
Just silence. It's just silence.
It's just silence.
You just get a bag full of nothing. It's just air. That's all it is. Bag? An empty bag. You don't even get a sauce packet.
No, what about the sauce packets?
You get a sauce packet, but it's used. It's just like a little
used sauce packet?
A used sauce packet. That's all you get with it.
I would be more upset if I got a used sauce packet than if I got a regular sauce, or if I didn't get a sauce packet at all.
Exactly.
What? Oh my gosh.
I love being insufferable. It's so fun. Anyways.
I'm suffering.
Good.
Well, let's take a look.
My child! I love it.
Well, we might not see it. It is a best of 3 after all.
I know.
So,
look, I'm counting on them to make this a best of 3. My child needs to see me. I need to see my child.
All right, you guys hear that? We're going to hop into our first match here. Let's make this a full 3 games so we can see that crab leg match.
Pen S. Ooh, that is a very, very meta comp.
Ooh, leader. Leader setup.
I'm honestly kind of curious to see how I believe that is Dead Calm running Pencil is going to play against that leader. It is very scary.
Respawn Punisher and Object Shredder on that leader, interestingly enough. So
I'm not too surprised, to be completely honest.
I will say Object Shredder is not something that I see a lot anymore, but it definitely has its place, and I can see why the leader would want to use it against a lot of objects, like wall and bubble and the like. Yeah. But it is Dead Calm right now with our first cap of the game. We have Moon over here with the Kraken going to go in and absolutely go. Oh, misses the kill somehow. I'm not entirely sure. It looked like they just jumped straight through the other player on the side of Doritos Locos. But unfortunately, the whale claiming one. The strikes coming out as well, and that is going to be the door wide open for Doritos Locos Taco Supreme. That is a mouthful, to come in and take back control of these zones with the gal down, that they can focus on getting control of that ramp area and hopefully making their way up to dome. That's a very powerful position for a team to be able to take, or not. The pen could just say no.
You know what?
No.
You know what? The pen players say no. Just I object. Not allowed. So it looks like Deadcom is just able to go in off of that pick and a half from that pen, getting another pick onto the zap as well, and just rushing into that courtyard.
Yeah, we do have the strikes coming out though from Doritos Locos, as well as the Booyah Bomb in response from Deadcom. Zach here on this.
Down.
Oh yeah, you're right. We have the cooler out from Doritos Locos as well. You can see Zach on that S-Blast really just locking down that right zone. Does look like with the Wave Breaker and Luis dropping though, they might have their work cut out for them. They do get taken out here. No Name is also on this zone here. I believe we have a crab punch?
There is a crab.
Yes, that is the crab from the splash back there.
It was just able to get rushed down, and it wasn't able to focus on painting that zone in time. It had to fight.
Yes, indeed. We've got another Kraken coming out here. Does get that pick down on assists right there. That's 2 down on the side of Doritos Locos. They do lose the gal again. Lewis forced to jump out here. Is able to hold onto those strikes though. So we'll have that when they need to respond. But also Deadcom, their splash has strikes as well. So we have it on dock for both of these teams. That penalty finally running out. And this match, kind of low scoring, honestly, from this point forward. But we have Summerboy here going to pop that crab. Has to be careful of those strikes coming out from Doritos Locos. But we have... we didn't pop our own strikes. Okay.
Yeah. I'm kind of... This is a very interesting match so far. It's very even. Kind of like we're in a bit of a deadlock here, but Deadcom is able to get pretty solid lead. It's just they've been trading their fight. They 2 go down though. 3.
Ooh. The splash being the only one left, forced to back up there, and with the cooler going out, Doritos Locos is able to take that, and you can see taking the area around this pit as well, looking at Dome. The strikes in that plat area to space out Deadcom, forcing them to jump out as well. Luis here watching this pit and the ledges over here, nice positioning. Meanwhile, you can see Moon here has that Kraken, is forced to play a little bit more passively, but with this cooler is going to Kraken into this right zone here. Looking for the pick on Luis, does get it. That is a huge pick. Looking for a pick on No Name as well, though. They are able to run away with that, and we'll see if the Kraken might get punished here. Ooh, and it does. Yeah, meanwhile, we do have this...
Doritos Locos Taco Supreme might be able to... I can't say that without breaking my... it looks like Doritos Locos Taco Supreme is going to be able to take that lead with that push off of the Kraken.
Yeah, that Kraken pick was absolutely huge for them. And still that zone taking down. We are in 5 remaining. The members of Deadcom doing their best to get onto that zone. It's getting neutralized, but they can't see over the whole team painting on that zone. And so after a lot of back and forth, and you can see the evidence of those strikes and the Booyah Bombs in both of those teams' bases, that is going to be our first match of Doritos Locos Taco Supreme.
I just love that wonderful, wonderful name. I gotta find a way to shorten that. Doritos Locos Tacos.
You could just call them Doritos.
Well, like, yeah, DLTS is what I was thinking.
I see.
DLTS.
Well, you can do that. Usually I just shorten multi-word team names to their first word or something along the lines of those. I personally, I think it's very funny when teams have a super long name and then it gets automatically put onto stream and the text just like gets extremely small or extremely compressed.
Yeah.
I'm sure the overlay designers are not happy about that at all, but I do think it's a little bit comical.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine who maxed out the characters on her sendou. And every time, if she was getting streamed, the poor streamers in production staff would have to... It would just take up, like, the entire, like, text box. It was hilarious. I don't know why it was like that, but it was, and the team name was even worse. It was the same thing.
Oh, man. Yeah, long team names are definitely something.
Indeed.
All right, well, our second map here in this best of 3 set, Mako Zones. Do wonder if we are going to continue to see the leader here.
I honestly, given it's Mako,
it's a very strong map for both Pen and Leader. I wouldn't be surprised if they stuck Leader, purely because it is able to just bully that Pen and keep it from painting zone and just supporting its teammates.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I don't, with the stuff that I've been watching lately, I really haven't, I've seen a lot more Pen than Leader, and so I get a little surprised every time it comes out, even though I know it's a very well-known pick and very powerful on a lot of these maps. Glad to see that it is staying, and so is that Respawn Punisher here. We don't believe we're seeing any swaps at all. That is an immediate death on the side of Dead Calm with the 52 going down there. Oh, we had a swap. That is a swap to 90 from 92 from 96 to 52. Jeez, I got my numbers mixed up there. We do have
both 52s actually. I miscounted that. That's my bad.
But we had I meant to like we had a 96 before, and now it's been swapped to 52.
Yeah.
Speaking of 52, Moonrose taking very aggressive positioning here with the 52 and the wall, distracting, taking a lot of resources. Meanwhile, assist on that Leader, bringing out the Wavebreaker as well as the strikes from their teammate there to take back the zone. We almost have, okay, I was gonna say we almost have the whales, but Assist says absolutely not. I am going to read you and take you out. Lewis here taking this right stack with some nice curved sloshes there over the stack. That is the power of Slosher, especially on a heavily ledged map like this one.
Leader just doing absolutely what you'd expect it to do, just able to just consistently push back the enemy team with it. It's the longest range weapon in the game, and it's a one-shot. You have to respect that, and if you don't, what just happened happens. You get shot.
And you get shot indeed. That is very much the whole point of the weapon. We've got Summer Boy here on this crab, unfortunately taken out there by Lewis on that slosher. Again, it's just such a strong main weapon and kit. No surprise that it has made its home throughout all 3 games. They do also have the strikes, so that is going to be an extremely useful tool, no matter how they decide to use it. Trying to go onto this block here, opting to do just a little bit of ledge harassment. Got to get taken out by Moon on that drop there, and Moon is going to continue to go for the zone on the side here. They are alone though, so we'll see how this situation is handled.
That bucket just barely missing the flick that they needed to survive there, and maybe even get a pick on that Pen, but Dead Calm is able to just push back. Looks like they are one down. They are able to get that bucket. That was scary. Moonrose is just going top right there. He's gonna try and put pressure.
Yeah, very, very self-sufficient and aggressive here. Has teammates with them now to back them up, and going back for Cooler. This is a nice place for Dead Calm to be in, looking for a lead swap here, as they are going to have to watch out for the Cooler and the strikes coming out on this right side here from Lewis, jumping into Zach. Does get the pick, jumps out though, and that is the lead swap here in favor of Dead Calm. You can see Ace and No Name though from the right side going in, taking 2 down on the stack of Dead Calm, and with the strikes able to get that out. Meanwhile, Assist here going to move up to this this ramp, perhaps right stack position where they can be in, opting to stick left stack instead, but does have that mine out in a nice position.
Leader is just taking its time to just set itself up because it knows it's going to be worth it. Just even that mine on its own is incredibly strong in fighting his own. It's surprising how much it does.
Oh, absolutely. The sheer amount of area control that the Leader has. A juicy direct here from Zach. A very aggressive positioning, and has that Booyah Bomb at the ready as well. They are ready to soak up a lot of resources and time and distract Doritos Locos as they are running around in this bottom area here. Summer Boy on that crab, forcing a jump out. We did have the whales. We see a fight from No Name there, getting ended by the crab, and there's that Booyah Bomb from Zach. We are in 25 and counting for that zone timer as we head into the last minute and 35.
Does go down.
Yes, like
2 go
another.
down.
Oh, 2 down. That's gonna make it so much more difficult. You can see No Name doing their best, and Lewis as well. No Name goes down. Lewis is rushing the zone, but doesn't have a special, and unfortunately is not able to. And so we are now 1-1. Looks like you got your wish.
Crab leg, my beloved. Dead Calm heard my plea and locked in to win that match. That was an incredible hold at the end from them. S-Blast making an incredibly smart play to just take its time on right and use the amount of pressure that it's exerting to just extend that lead as much as they can into a knockout.
Absolutely. So now that our set is evened up, we are going to Crab Leg Capital, and you know those backlines are happy about that.
I'm gonna love this.
Those grates are heaven.
They are wonderful.
I wonder how the other players feel about Crab Leg, though.
Okay, I will say that because I like Crab Leg, my teammates are happy because I'm good at Crab Leg.
Fair Fair enough. You know what? So it's like, hey, our backline, happy team. You know what they say, right?
If you keep your backline content, things will go well for you.
Content. It doesn't even have to be good. It just has to be content.
No, as long as I get to sit back and do nothing the whole game, you're doing your job.
Yeah, protect your backlines. Let them do stuff. They'll be happy. Well, we know pretty much. I think these teams pretty much have their comps locked down. It might be a toss-up between that 96 versus 52 for Moon, depending on whether they're looking for more Kraken or not. But they've been sticking on that gal for the last 2 matches, so I don't anticipate any major comp swaps here. I'm gonna. It's very hit or miss, but that pen might switch to leader here. It is very oppressive on this map in particular. That's true. I don't know if they have leader in their pocket. Let's take a look at these comps here. No, we're gonna stick on 10. Okay. Oh, I switched to 96. Okay, so the cooler option of choice is going to be that Claws 96. That dart also, I do wonder if we'll see any funny moments with.
That dart combo.
Yeah, the dart combo with 96 is honestly insane. I know a couple people that have picked it up, and it's such an incredible tool for that weapon. You can see here is No Name building up that cooler very quickly for 96 as well within that first 17 seconds or so. Admirable pace. They do have to watch out for the crab from the splash, but we've got the whales coming out here from Ace. That is we got the wave breaker as well. So despite that being first pick for Dead Calm, they do go 2 down with that nice cooler to jump out and these strikes. So many specials coming out for Doritos Locos. They are going to take control of that zone and work up to it. You can see
dart shenanigans.
Yes, we are seeing dart shenanigans. We do see Summerboy with another crab, but very quickly having to move around because of the threat of Lewis here on this slosher. Does get one pick.
Going after the bucket.
Yes.
A very risky but very worthy play to make.
Definitely.
The bucket is able to get traded out for the pen, though.
Yes, we've got Moonrays here on this 52, opting to play for this far right side here in the pit, jumping out, narrowly avoiding those whales. We've got that timer ticking down, meanwhile, as is opting to stay actually on the ground here. You can see on the back next to No Name here, just jumping over those whales and trying to keep that zone painted. We've got another cooler as well, nicely placed for the rest of the team.
I will say the leader is doing a lot just by being even just anywhere near the zone in general. It is able to keep that pen back, gets one, it's just able to keep that pen back and just prevent them from getting nearly as much pain on the zone and just frontward cover as they could.
Yeah, exactly. Pen can be so important in a present pick. Another beautiful pick from S's right there, and they are just absolutely guarding this zone. Meanwhile, we've got these strikes again, single digits though, but we do see the whales come out. We see Moon on the zone. It's taken down though, and Zach trying to get the zone, but unfortunately,
and that's GG's.
That's game.
Doritos,
that's upset.
Locos, Taco, Supreme for the win on crab leg zones.
Wow.
That was just
That's so much faster than I expected it to be. I for sure thought that Dead Calm was going to get that flip and retake there, but with the death on the zone providing that little bit of extra paint and the S-Blast just not quite able to paint, that's the end of it. And I will say that is an upset with Doritos Locos being our 10th seed and Dead Calm being our 7th.
Yeah. Honestly, it's just more of an example of how strong leader is, especially in a meta where range is incredibly favorable. It's able to just bully that pen so hard it could not push up onto front grates, which it would have loved to do, and just go bully people in spawn. But it can't do that when there's a leader.
The threat of the leader is enough to dissuade them from attempting, because it's so difficult to get past that. And sometimes seems like, what do you even do when you fight that leader? You can bomb them, you can whale them, but
there isn't a whole, at least on Pencil, in that kind of scenario where you want to push up, there isn't a lot that you can do against it. The best thing that you can do is have one of your other teammates distract the leader and then go for an off angle on them. That's like the one way that I have found consistently you can win a fight against a leader.
Well, with that set as a very effective advertisement for why you should play leader, we are going to wrap up our block here and get ready to hand it off to our lovely co-casters, or not co-casters, but other block of casters. But before we do that, Radi, is there anything that you'd like to plug or promote at the end of our block here?
Personally, no.
Good for you. Completely fair enough. Well, I will. You can find me at blueskycater.inkling.social, where I do commentary and post art. And also, I am on the latest episode, not of the Nintendo Splatoon North American League show, where I do some trivia. So you can see me there. We are going to hand it off to Rocket and Dark, two incredible commentators who are waiting in our drag zone right now. So thank you so much. We are going to be right back in just a couple of moments. Stay fresh.
Later.
Get ready for the next battle, ladies, gentlemen, Zaydevs, Zaydevs in between. My name is SPF Dark. We're coming at you live here at IPL to bring you SOS 203 with regards to the remainder of Great White Bracket. And of course, I'm joined tonight here with a very good friend of mine.
Yes, hello, it is Rocket here, and wonderful introduction. Thank you for the introduction, Dark, as we are taking a look at SOS 203, the continuation of Great White Bracket. Reminder to you, dear viewers, just joining us, or if you've been here, just a quick little refresher. This is a zones-only edition of Swimmer Sync, and we're going to kick things off in best of 3 here for round 2 of Great White. We'll be looking at Tape versus Cherry Up Top.
And these two teams are actually we're really ready really fast, more than I'm used to here. So I guess we're gonna be moving here a little bit faster here as these two teams are getting ready. And to kick things off, of course, we're here on Robo Ramen. Robo Ramen is it's a map I very much love enjoying watching and seeing. It's one of my personal favorite maps, so it's always a good joy to see it get played for whatever.
Yeah, absolutely, and usually a classic in terms of zones maps. Of course, you have your elbow positions that are going to be the priority for both teams to really control the zone. But I want to switch gears and kind of talk about the teams. Speaking of which, these are 2 pickups. Tape being made up of a lot of familiar names. One that sticks out to mind for me is Acing, a really good Lunar Blaster player. You could really have the ability to just get in your face, really being able to be that front forward aggressive weapon. But the more important thing, or at least the thing that sticks out to me more, is Cherry Up Top is a pickup of mainly low-ink teams, if I'm not mistaken. I do recognize some Ball Up Top and some, what was the other team? I think Josh and Blaster from, actually, yeah, they're also from Ball Up Top. So a lot of familiar names in terms of low-ink players.
So I'm very eager to see exactly how these two teams clash out here. I mean, familiar names are always a good thing to see here. Especially, you kind of get a better sense of like what might be being brought to the table here, and what we might exactly be seeing from either side. And as these two teams are on a breakaway, I am eager to see exactly how this E-leader is going to be set up here from Cherry up top.
Yeah, and just like I said, acing on that Lunar Blaster, a very aggressive 1-2 punch that they have, that Tape has with the Gal as well, really looking for those close range fights. On the other side, similar story for Cherry Up Top. You have a not fairly common scene anymore, but still present there, Zimmy, but that is quickly taken out as the rest of the players at Tape managed to move forward, managing to take out 3 on total for Cherry Up Top, and Acing leading the way.
Trizuka was committed here, as well as the Tacticooler and the Big Bubbler, to try and take care of this zone here, and they do manage to get the picks they need to keep Tape out for the time being, give them a heavy amount of penalty points. It might be a little bit too many specials being used here, guys. They're coming in here, Tape once again at the ready, trying to see exactly how they want to re-engage, already opening out with the killer well to keep Cherry Up Top and at bay.
Yeah, so you do have to worry about this Carbon, though. Moving forward, unfortunately, goes down for Cherry up top, which will give some momentum for Tape as they continue to surge forward. 2 players down, main painter's there, but Cherry up top holds firm, forcing a 3-player down situation, just left to the pen to try to live to fight another day. The jump's being camped, potentially. We will be satisfied. There's only 1 being taken out, but the members of Tape continuously falling here, Dark.
Yeah, things are starting to spiral out of control here, and one thing to keep in mind with Robo Ramen is that things can tend to be a lockout heavy map here, so we can see Cherry on top just absolutely keep Tape out from being able to re-enter the mid area again, especially with E-Leader on the field. Without the proper tools to push that E-Leader back, there's no hope for Tape to even come close to contesting here of the zone, as by the time they get that opportunity, the game is already set and done.
Yeah, really nicely done just at the beginning of the match to control the tempo early for Cherry up top. Even though they went several players down, they were able to bounce back just given the nature of their weapons. You saw Noth on that Carbon really being able to counter the 1-2 combo I was trying to hype up at the beginning that Cherry up tops really relies on, with being able to get those first opening picks. But I mean, if you have Epoch on that Carbon, you have to worry about them, you have to deal with them, and that's just something that really led to the advantages of Cherry up top.
Yeah, absolutely. Cherry up top with, once they actually got set up proper in mid, you know, the beginning part of this match really wasn't their best. As Tape had a really solid hold there. Once Cherry on top managed to get going and set up, Tape with their range disadvantage, considering they had the Luna Blaster, the pencil, and the Nautilus as well. It just was really struggling to get past that E-Leader without committing the proper specials here. And so now moving to game number 2, Ship-Shape Cargo Company, another map that's actually very lockout heavy, if not one of the lockout maps that this game, this map's known for. You know, things can be a little bit dicey for Tape moving forward.
Yeah, and you mentioned it with Cherry up top running that E-Leader. Now, that has been a topic of discussion as of late, of just teams trying and experimenting with E-Leader over Pen. You saw they replace the cooler. You saw Cherry up top running that N-Zap with Nerdy Adam running it. I wonder if they stick with that. Of course, it did prove to be very useful. They're continuously applying that pressure onto Tape, and if I remember correctly, Nerdy Adam also has the flexibility to switch over to the Frozen Pro, so if they do elect to go back to their pen comp, they could go with that Frozen Pro for those missiles, but we'll only have to wait and see, as Cherry up top are already on set point here.
Yeah, we are in a best of 3, so being a set point this early does put some nerves and some pressure to Tape here, but I'm sure they have what it takes to stick it out here, especially considering that their comp is pretty much the same from the last game, so they are confident that what they have can work into Cherry up top's own E-Leader here, so it's just going to be a matter of their own mechanics to try and force their way in and keep that E-Leader out.
And the main issue that Tape had previously, they just kept dying in quick succession and already losing their pen. That early cooler will not be had for Tape, as Joshu makes a very nice shot there. Could get another one onto acing, but managing to find 2 nice shots is acing, barely living that almost dangerous shot coming out from that E-Leader, and now Hammer being popped as well, as this is a completely different tempo that Tape is bringing to the table that we saw compared to game 1.
Yeah, and this is the kind of position Tape wants to be out throughout the remainder of this game. They want to make sure Cherry on top, it has no breathing room, has no movement, and no extra area to try and swim past to get to Cherry up top. That either gets any sort of area, any sort of paint into their advantage, they can absolutely run away with this game. And just like that, Tape lost 1 player, and Cherry on top ran in so fast. Yeah, I got another pick, cleaned up Tape, and claimed mid just in a matter of seconds. And now the tides have shifted. Tape is the one struggling, and now Cherry up top is on the offensive with 2. Can we get a 3rd from? No, they get 3, and they get out with their lives.
Yes, and this is and now we're reverting back to Robo Ramen. Tape continuously falling. The Carbon still yet to be dealt with, as Noth barely lives to fight another day. Hammer and Not Special available here. Acing just waiting for the perfect moment to use it, but you do have to go in soon, as now Tape no longer has that lead. Cherry up top moving in just to secure that blow. Acing now feels that pressure and has to move in, has to create some space. 2 players are down with them taking out Nerdy Adam, but we will find more. Taking out Blaster could find the 4th as well, and there is a clean delayed wipe with just Noth trying to live in this corner.
Yeah, being spotted, know exactly where that Carbon Deco is hiding, but a little bit too late as Noth managed to get pick up to use the Trizuka to split Tape in half and cleans up the fight. And Cherry up top is once again at the same position they were earlier, maybe a little bit too over-eager there as the Mini did get picked out early on, but the penalty points are still online for Cherry up top. Tape does have some time to play with if they want to try and break through this hold here, but it's going to be a bit of a difficult task considering what they have online and what they have just lost.
Yeah, especially pushing into an E leader. It's a very difficult thing to do, but taking out the teammates of Cherry up top's Josh on that E leader is a good way to get into the zone. Acing now leading the way, trying to hunt for this E leader who is able to get out in due time, but is still taken out on that jump. Really nicely done by the Pen to secure that pick. Now staggered a little bit. Cherry up top just have to live to fight another day as Tape recovers, trying to get this hold in, as it is still a tightly contested match here with Blaster on this hammer managing to take out Trey Shark.
Ooh, a good opener from Blaster to try and get things back under control. And penalty points are gone for Tape though, and they're playing a slow and steady game to make sure that Cherry up top can't break through. 3 down on Cherry up top side. That Tape has a huge advantage here and have taken the lead and are looking to try to close in the game here. Acing hiding under the ledge, trying to see who can they pick out, but Cherry on top does not have the tools to break through this wall.
Yes, and that's a nice recovery from Tape, not only from what looks like Cherry up top clawing back. Remember, Tape had that early lead, had that early push, and then Cherry up top came roaring back with all those specials. You saw the hammer, the Zuka, and of course the Carbon getting a very nice triple into the spawn, but Tape was able to recover nicely, just bouncing back. And a very necessary one, of course, keeping them alive in this set. It will all come down, though, to the decider on Splat Zone's Barnacle and Dime. But so far, both of these teams have showed us a little bit of their capabilities in just being able to prove why they're here.
Yeah, no, all the marbles are riding on this one. We've seen Cherry up top shown what dominance E-Leader can have against the opposing team, and now we've seen Tape show that they have what it takes to use their tools at their disposal that they had in the first game, readjust their strategy, and properly execute them, and manage to counter the E-Leader. What was almost actually a very strong dominant game in the hold from Cherry up top quickly turned in Tape's favor as they used their specials to really break the chain, and now heading to Barnacle and Dime. I'm being as central as I can, right? But I do fear a little bit for Tape, since Barnacle and Dime is a bit more open, is a bit more flat, and map like that, you kind of really love to see E-Leaders. So Tape has to be very mindful of that E-Leader moving to this third map.
Man, not only that, like, it seems, I mean, I'm noticing as well that both these games have just kind of been determined by the battle of the front lines. Of course, yet again, it's just that Carbon on the side of Tape versus, or the Carbon on the side of Cherry up top, excuse me, versus Tape's Luna Blaster and Gal. And we do see a switch here. No more cooler will be had for Cherry up top, and like I mentioned previously, Nerdy Adam goes with that Frozen Pro, giving a lot more range for Cherry up top in total, but you do lose that fighting ability just a little bit. So let's see if this adjustment will pay off.
Yeah, without the tactical cooler, it could be a very rough start to keep things up to pace with Tape, especially with their own coolers online right now. Prosper looking, trying to zone out Cherry up top as best they can. Tandem missiles is coming out though to hopefully try and scatter Cherry up top as best they can, but the Ink Storm does slow them down. Tape looking to try and move in here, but no, gets 3 down, and Cherry up top manages to flip the game there.
Yeah, and that's just been the win condition for Tape, is just getting your frontline players in. But Cherry up top recovers really nicely, as you saw from Nerdy Adam getting a nice 2. But speaking of recoveries, Tape right back into it before I can even finish my thoughts. Hammer going out, Cooler went out, and now Tape with strong control in the zone. Acing just poking around this platform area, a key point to hold, but they are taken out themselves. So this could be the start of a comeback attempt for Cherry up top now with numbers advantage.
Yeah, there was a number advantage there, but Cherry Up Top did lose one of their own there. Now it's a relatively neutral game, but Cherry Up Top does manage to flip the zone back in their favor, giving them a decent amount of penalty points to Tape as they use the Ink Storm to hopefully contest the zone yet again and steal it right back. It's a constant back and forth flipping between these two teams. A lot of these trades are sort of impactful, but each team recovers from them very, very fast and manages to cover what weaknesses is left from their player that did get picked off.
Yes, both sides desperately fighting over the zone. Neither side really trying to give up any ground. Two players, the front line of Tape is down. Now is the time to go if you're on the side of Cherry Up Top, and Blaster does just that, just leaving the pen. Eatbuck running for the hills. Advantage now in the side of Cherry Up Top as they try to continue the stagger. Now, with that early lead being had, you still have to build up these specials. Hammer is in the hands of Blaster, waiting to be activated. Will it find its target? Not that time as Prosper lives, but on the backs of that, Tape able to find a one-player advantage. Not if Josh has anything to say about it, though, with a very nice E-leader shot, but they are quickly being zoned out as Tape will come roaring back.
Once again, a good usage of specials to keep that leader out and manages to get the pick off the E-leader. Well, it's all open for Tape right now to be on the absolute offensive to try and keep Cherry Up Top as bound for as long as they can. Their penalty points are gone. They're trying to close the lead here, but unfortunately, two go down, make that three. Tape, unfortunately, has lost momentum as Cherry Up Top quickly moves in, gets a wipeout, and steps right back up as if nothing has ever happened.
Yes, and I do want to commend both these teams in their effectiveness at recovering from disadvantage state. You saw Tape come roaring back in quick succession and Cherry Up Top returning the favor. Josh just looking for that opening pick. E-leader is so great at this, trying to get you into that advantage early, but Tape is the one with the advantage with two picks going quickly their way. Now Josh being the last one is zoned out, and that is a wipeout right back at you for Tape. It is so close as we wind down under the 2-minute mark. Prosper does have a reign to kind of play with. The only special on the board could be a little bit of a swing factor here, as penalty points are no longer a factor for Tape.
Yeah, things are looking very tight between these two teams. Penalty points is gone for Tape, but unfortunately they also do lose two of their own players. It's up to Epic here to try and hold the line as best they can, but the coffin roll is coming off. It's coming in, narrowly avoids it enough as they jumped out with their lives and does unfortunately get picked out here. And now Cherry Up Top has to hold the line. It is their turn to defend. Tape wanted to go on the offensive, but I do believe that was a two-shot for one and make that three. Joshua is just on a rampage with the E-leader.
Yes, and I was mentioning how important E-leader can be at opening things up, and you see them again take out Prosper. Can they find one of the acing? They are hitting everything. It is reading all true. Maybe try to poke away at this pen as well, but as the final ticks go down, Cherry Up Top remain firm. What a pop-off from Josh. They're getting, I believe, 3 or 4 in total just in a matter of 10 seconds.
Oh man, these two teams knew exactly how to fight against one another. It was so fascinating to see them constantly counter out each interaction, each strategy, like in real time. You saw with that third game, it was a constant back and forth. They were really almost down to the wire until Joshua just really locked in, really got set up with the E-leader and just managed to take away that game there.
Yeah, and you can't stress enough how powerful it is as a weapon, as an E-leader, just point and click heads. You're just completely removing two players from the equation from what looks like a back and forward game. Tape and Cherry Up Top constantly were able to get in retakes, but Josh rose to the occasion. They were able to take out 3 players in total, of course getting that collat, and then the third onto Prosper, completely stopping the momentum of Tape right in its tracks. And that's exactly what you need to do in these moments. When the lights are brightest, you rise up, and Cherry Up Top gets the 2-1 upset over Tape.
Yeah, a good opener on their side as they move up further into bracket. Unfortunately, Tape is going home here, but man, what a game that was. As we take a look at the bracket here, it looks like Cherry Up Top is going to be going up against Pusheen Cat, who won 2-0 over Doritos, Locos, Tacos Supreme, a match that was shown off in just the last set before our block.
Yes, but of course, we'll be looking at the other side where Motif versus Yuri Fanclub, like you mentioned, are currently 1-1, so Usagi fan club are still waiting for their opponent. But speaking of waiting, we'll be waiting for that. So don't go anywhere. We will return for the remainder of SOS 203 here shortly.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies, that was in between. My name is Dark. I'm here with Rocket, and we're back with our semi-finals Great White Bracket: Duck Motif versus Usagi Fanclub.
Yes, familiar names, of course. Duck Motif, you know them, you love them. They're our number one seed for a reason. Survived a little bit of a scare in round 2 where Yuri Fanclub kind of had them on the ropes a little bit, forcing it to game 3, but Duck Motif was able to close it out. Meanwhile, on the other side, Usagi Fanclub has kind of been sitting here a little bit after their 2-0 victory over Cosmic Wall, having to wait a little bit for the bracket to come at them. So now they finally get in some action here as we go into semifinals, best of 5. Starting things off, a new map that we haven't really seen. Urchin Underpass, Splat Zones.
Yeah, Urchin Underpass, recently added addition to the game not too long ago, and I guess now a recent addition to SOS here. I am very curious because it was a recent addition. Not a lot of tournaments have been running this map at all, so I really don't have too many opinions as to like how it's played and what should be or shouldn't be done on this map mode. I do know Clems on this map is horrendous, right? But I really don't know how zones works here in 3 at the very least.
At least from what I've seen, and in my opinion, zones is the only generally accepted mode to play on this map. Tower is a mode on this map that does exist. Some people don't like it because it is very defensive, but I like it because it is unique, and honestly, you should cry about it if you don't like it, but that's besides the point. But with Splat Zone's Urchin Underpass, I do know the zone is fairly easily captured just in the Shark-infested waters. It is pretty much the lowest point on the map where teams will have to kind of dive into, and I've seen a lot of times where all it takes is just one player to just cap the entire zone, and it's usually not even on a weapon that you consider for painting. So definitely something teams have to worry about if they will kind of bring that zone's cheese.
Yeah, I mean, we might see our typicals like Reef Slider or Splashdown or even Booyah Bomb, right? But it kind of is hard to say, really. Ely, we talked about this in the in-between a little bit anyways. Ely's been on the up and coming, and well, I don't think Urchin Underpass necessarily is an E-leader map. I don't think the geometry just works with it, at least in my opinion. But then again, I'm not an E-leader player, so who am I to say, right? But I wouldn't be that surprised if we see it maybe here.
Absolutely, and we saw, I mean, at the very least, I took a little peek at what Duck Motif was running. They are running they did at least run an E-leader on Barnacle and Dime. Now, you could just put that up to, well, I mean, E-leader is good on Barnacle and Dime. We saw it in our previous set as well, just how dangerous it could be. Josh showed all of us. But at least with what Duck Motif was running, they were running that E-leader, they were running a Zap, and I believe they were also running a Wiper as well to kind of pick up the pace in terms of having that paint.
Yeah, I think I kind of do like that weapon lineup of like leader, Wiper, Zap, and probably like another aggressive weapon potentially, just to keep things on the offensive here. And we'll see exactly if they're going to be bringing that sort of lineup here in semifinals or not. We do see a rather rapid pacing from both sides. Both of these two teams have a very aggressive lineup. Hello?
Okay, the Red Apples. I understand the method to the madness here. It is a very front aggressive weapon. You have those beacons for the util. This map is very, very punishing when you die, of course, because you do have to swim all the way towards that mid area, so I do understand it from both sides. But I just find it interesting that we see not only that, but the Octobrush coming out from Duck Motif.
Yeah, it's a very curious lineup to say the least, but I do think I do wonder if it's part of it. It's just because this map is weird and large, right? But I digress to say is that Duck Motif really has a strong opening because of those beacons being placed here. But Usagi Fanclub is managed to at least hold them down at least a little bit, going to look to capture the zone at the very least, while Duck Motif is a bit scattered right now and giving them a decent chunk of penalty points.
You see Red Shell pretty much existing in the backline of Usagi Fanclub, delaying 2 players and even taking one with them before they go. But you have CJ on the side of Usagi Fanclub moving up that left side, putting down some beacons and giving some recovery. Really nicely done by Usagi Tough. That is a wonderful bubble to place. They're immediately getting into the face of 2 players on the side of Duck Motif and opening the door for Usagi Fanclub to secure that lead and continue building on it, as now Duck Motif just scattering, trying to find the paint necessary to get that zone.
Yeah, I do like to think that Duck Motif's current game plan and gameplay style right here is just divide and conquer and just see just spread out as best they can, see what picks they can get, and just converge from there. It doesn't seem to be working that well, as Duck Motif is getting ticked off occasionally here. Usagi Fanclub isn't necessarily able to use that to their full advantage, though, as they still haven't been able to break through this line that Duck Motif has drawn. But the Booyah Ball may be able to try and shake things up there, as the zone is in contention right now, but only 3 stand for Usagi Fanclub, and Duck Motif holds strong.
Yeah, and with the players down now for Usagi Fanclub, you saw CJ going down early. They're only going to have 3 players on this retake, not anymore if they can get a nice 2 with the Zuka, but Paint needs to go pretty fast. CJ right back into the action, managing to get some revenge and at least stop the bleeding for Usagi Fanclub. But you see Duck Motif really taking the fight off of the zone, and that is what you need, just because of how punishing it is to die specifically on this zone. It pretty much paints like 75% of it, just given how small the singular zone is in mid.
Yeah, I mean, considering this is a bit of an old school map, and all things considered, it is a bit bigger, so you do actually have a decent amount of ground to cover in order to try and get to the actual objective, and that might be part of the growing pains here of fighting this map, not just from Usagi Fanclub, but Duck Motif as well. Their picks are constantly being whenever they get picked up, it slows down a tremendous amount, which I do believe is why they brought the beacons here on top of the tactical here, which allows these very aggressive plays that Red Shell just tried right there, not necessarily that debilitating to them, as they're now trying to make sure they can keep Usagi Fanclub in check, trying to keep them cornered down here and not letting them through here. 2 do slip by, though, in the wall, but they're able to come and pick it up. Gets 1, gets 2, gets 3, and I do believe with that wipeout, that's gonna be game!
Yeah, some by miracle here that Usagi Fanclub manages to run into the zone. That is a really nice double there from the Gal, opening the doors, and you see the S-Blast cleaning up any hope that Usagi Fanclub had. Duck Motif take a very back and forward game, but it is a victory nonetheless.
Yeah, I want to say very dominant victory, because there was a lot of back and forth, but I can't find the word for it right now, but I guess the best way I can describe it is a very good victory for Duck Motif. They really know exactly their game plan and how to use this map to their advantage. You know, it's a lot different than a lot of these Splatoon 3 maps and Splatoon 3 versions of older maps. You know, the big thing about Urgent Underpass is just that it's big, you know. So I now that I've like started to see it a bit more, I'm starting to see some of the strategy that's coming along with it of using weapons with beacons to get into the fight faster, because I don't think, I may be wrong here, but I don't think Duck Motif normally runs the red dapples.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like neither team really runs those, but again, it is the necessary for, like I mentioned, the beginning of that game when we first saw them. You have those beacons to really place in, kind of cover that ground, and you saw it as well with the Zimmy being brought out by the side of Usagi Fanclub, just giving another way to get in, but now, a little bit return to normalcy, if some would say, as Urchin Underpass was just a map we are trying out. So, if you like it, hey, it might stay. If not, we'll be keeping moving on, just like we are right now, with Splat Zones Umami being our next one.
Yeah, Zones Umami. It is one of my sort of niche personal favorites. I do love 2-zone maps, because I think they're just fun and neat, and I think this one's in particular very fun and neat simply because you can see weapons like an S-Blast like potentially fight off a junior in terms of paint and trying to get the zone if you play things properly, you know. So you get 2 very small zones in a relatively tight, not necessarily tight mid, but very condensed mid, and you get a lot of chaos, a lot of constant flipping, and a lot of just constant back and forth. You know, you'll see teams just run literal circles around the middle plat of like trying to recover each other's traces, each other's steps constantly.
Absolutely, and it's just the back and forward tug of war that you kind of have to play, just given the nature of the double zone maps. But now could be our potential look at what these teams actually run. Now you could throw away what Urchin was running, and we do see Bandit pulling out that splatter scope. I believe the third kit of the splatter scope here for that crab. All swim speed up, by the way, on Bandit, which is something I don't think I've ever seen on a backline.
Yeah, I'm very curious as to what the reasoning as to all of that swim speed is for. Really, I mean, surely your movement at that point isn't that necessary as a backline, but I'm not the one playing the game, so what do I know, right? But yeah, no, Bandit does manage to get a good opening pick on their side to flip the game for Duck Motif. Make that 2. Oh, wait a minute, we might be getting something cooking here, chat.
I mean, I can kind of see it if you just want to turn your Splat Charger into a Squiffer. You also see Red Shell on that third kit, Wiper getting one onto Leaf before they are quickly traded out. A quick opening from Duck Motif allows them to get early control of the zone, and some nice picks following it allow them to hold forth as Leaf, the only person threatening it from the side of Usagi Fanclub, went down.
Yeah, and now Duck Motif is running away with these points. Usagi Fanclub is struggling a little bit to break through this wall. And now Tactical online for Duck Motif means they can go on aggression without too many repercussions on their side. They're looking to just try to make sure they keep this zone neutralized onto their side with paint. But one going down, make that 2, make that 3. Usagi Fanclub with an extraordinary opener specialist and a delayed wipeout flips the script almost immediately.
Yeah, but you have Duck Motif coming back with a roaring vengeance, already managing to take out one. You have the Booyah Bomb available here to use on the side of Usagi Fanclub to kind of slow the bleeding a little bit. Bandit, nice shot to just hold firm, but they do take that 1-for-1 trade going down to the Booyah Bomb. Here comes the Booyah Bomb from Usagi Fanclub's side as Red Shell almost manages to get one on that left side, but looking very firm to punch right back is Usagi Fanclub. You have CJ here poking away, just trying to see if they can delay this inevitable retake, and you already know if you're on the other side that Duck Motif is coming roaring back.
Yeah, roaring back, using the crab take, using the Booyah Bomb to push Usagi Fanclub and take the zone once again, but damage has already been done. The lead has been swapped, and now they are unfortunately have to go through their opponent points if they want to try to close the gap with this lead here. And they do get picked out, 2 down for Duck Motif, but Tactical was online for them, so it isn't necessarily that bad of a thing, as Usagi Fanclub does not have Tactical online at the moment, and so they're slowly getting picked off one by one, getting pushed back and choked out here on their side of the map.
Penalty points no longer an issue. Red Shell that's absolutely huge to stop the retake attempt from Usagi Fanclub, delaying the inevitable as CJ will find that pick, yes, but now time, not a fan of Usagi Fanclub here is 10 ticks left. A Zuka available for Red Shell. They could close it out here if there aren't any players left to hold the zone. Isn't as Duck Motif. A very quick 2-0. After a nice double from Red Shell.
That was genuinely frames away, or at least being contested for a little bit longer. Usagi Fanclub narrowly, unfortunately, missing the timer for that zone to get flipped, and Duck Motif does manage to come on top here, going 2-0 against Usagi Fanclub. But as a reminder, folks, we are in the best of 5, so we aren't done just yet. We have one more game that Duck Motif needs to win in order to try to clean it up, and we're going to be moving to Museum Dolphocino.
Yes, but this is the comp that I was talking about earlier before we saw Urchin Underpass. Of course, Urchin Underpass being the curveball map, but a return to normalcy with that comp. Red Shell pretty much opening the door there for Duck Motif to continue that role. You saw yet again these back and forwards that teams have at this level. All it takes is one individual play from a player somehow finding a crease, and we saw it there from Red Shell, breaking the stalemate, breaking the back and forward, and ultimately breaking Usagi Fanclub's retake. And that's something you just gotta keep an eye on for Usagi Fanclub. You do have to worry about these players such as Red Shell just popping up out of nowhere.
Yeah, the aggression that Duck Motif manages to pull off really is something special. Red Shell being able to go in so deep and manages to get the picks that they need to open up their team to just keep moving forward, to keep the momentum going in their favor is was really incredible to see here. And now the question is, can they keep that same aggression up moving on to game number 3? Will Usagi Fan Club shake things up a bit with new weapon picks, or are they confident with what they've brought so far?
Have to wait and see. Red Shell bringing us a different weapon as well as a different charger being brought out for Duck Motif. Red Shell on the Ninja Squid roller, Bandit on an E-liter, and some little adjustments here and there for the side of Usagi Fan Club. You see a Gal and a Splash, a little bit more of a normal comp you typically expect from Usagi Fan Club.
And normalcy might be the key, though, as a good opening Gabby by Usagi Fan Club nets them 2 picks and immediately control of the zone with a dominant hold in mid, but unfortunately 2 go down almost immediately, and Duck Motif is quick to move in to try and take advantage of those picks, though. It is a 1-for-1 trade in mid, as both these two teams are desperately dueling out here to see who can truly come out on top. Booyah Bomb being committed, the Wavebreaker committed on their side, but Usagi Fan Club stays in control.
Yes, continuing to move forward, Red Shell finding an opening with the bubble available, looking to try to make some noise and draw the attention of Usagi Fan Club away, forcing out a crab as well. A lot of resources being invested to take out Red Shell, but Usagi tough. Finding 2 in total means that crab gains even more value here, as with the 40 tick mark passing for Usagi Fan Club, time is running out for Duck Motif to get in a retake.
Yeah, they need to be moving in quick if they want to try and stay alive for this game, for this set, and they're not wanting to let this game go without a fight. Duck Motif taking 2 down with them, as Usagi Fan Club struggling to keep up with the momentum, and unfortunately does lose the zone, getting dealt a heavy amount of penalty points on their side, and now Duck Motif getting set up at mid. It might be a little bit dangerous considering that they have an E-liter on their side.
You also have to worry about that S-Blast poking from that bottom ledge, and of course Red Shell on that roller. You see 2 players getting taken out, though, as this crab, always reigning true for Usagi Fan Club, it seems, has completely opened the door, and a quick retake has led Duck Motif to falling back, trying to live to fight another day, as this is what you love to see from a team. Backs against the wall in the set, constantly fighting with such aggression and leaving Duck Motif wailing here, as penalty points still pretty hefty for the side of Usagi Fan Club, but pressure is all on Duck Motif.
Yeah, this is Duck Motif's game to lose here. They're up 2-0, and they don't want to try and start a losing streak here at this point of the tournament. So they're doing everything they can to just keep their momentum online. And with 2 down, almost immediately, Duck Motif moving in quick to capture the zone at the very least, but does unfortunately go down as the Booyah Bomb is very well placed in mid. Bubbler being used a little bit too late there, as Usagi Fan Club keeps control of the zone, are almost done with their penalty points, and Booyah Bomb popped by Duck Motif yet again to try and take control, and they do flip it in the nick of time with 3 going down for Usagi Fan Club.
Constantly remaining alive, not a lot of penalty points to really speak of, but Duck Motif have now taken a very aggressive position. 2 players on this spinner area, Red Shell trying to find any value, but Usagi Fan Club has seemingly snuffed them out every time they make an advance. Really nice bomb to take out Leaf. A counter pick will be had by CJ, though, as you see Spexal does have a Booyah Bomb available, ready to use after they get this quick pick to move on to this zone, to move on to this retake. But will the players be there? Will the players go down? It is very tensely fought here as the points are nearing each other in the final moments of this match. Just Bandit remaining.
Yeah, with Bandit being the last player standing, finally going out, that is a virtual wipeout for Duck Motif, but the damage has been done. The lead has been closed by a considerable amount, and Usagi Fan Club knows the danger, knows what happens if they let Duck Motif set up yet again. So they're looking to try and snuff them out here and now as best they can. 20 penalty points remaining on their side. They can look and try to potentially close the game here, especially with Tactical Online. That means they can go on the offensive without too many repercussions, but 2 down for Usagi right out of the game means that Duck Motif wants to try and take control of the zone as fast as they can, and that they do.
Something moving forward. Bandit still being that backline, being the backbone of Duck Motif. They do lose 2 players, though, so Usagi Fan Club are wasting no time to get back into this. This Booyah Bomb could hit those jumps, and they do, taking 2 players. Really nicely done to continue to delay the Duck Motif response. 45 seconds left. Still in the lead is Usagi Fan Club, but the problem is they need to close it out. Really nice flank here coming from Spexal, finding that double and potentially putting the final nail into the coffin here, as with penalty points nearing the end and the players on the side of Duck Motif going down. It is desperation time. 3 players remain, 2 players remain, and it doesn't look like Duck Motif will have enough time to keep this one alive, as Usagi Fanclub themselves keep above water in this best of 5, now taking game 3.
Ooh, still alive, not wanting to go down without a fight. Usagi Fanclub just absolutely locked it at the end of that game there and just took it home with what I want to say with relative ease there. Duck Motif unfortunately was not able to reset up once they got that initial delayed wipeout against them, and since then Usagi Fanclub knew the game plan that Duck Motif wanted to stick with and did everything in their power to prevent that from happening again.
I was also mentioning it too, after you saw Red Shell kind of blow up for Duck Motif, really being able to lead them to glory and umami. Usagi Fanclub this time was able to keep them pretty much in check. You saw every bubble getting shredded really quickly by those crabs. You had the continuous effort and the collective effort from Usagi Fanclub to snuff out that roller so it doesn't get that much value and take out the rest of Duck Motif as they fall. So good on Usagi Fanclub for remaining alive, but you still have 2 games to go through if you want to take this one from the jaws of defeat. We are going to Mahi Mahi as our game 4.
Yeah, this is when things can really decide a lot of the momentum for the remainder of this set. Usagi Fanclub staying alive by a lifeline here in game number 3 are now moving to game number 4 to try and kick it one more time to go for that glorious game 5 reverse sweep here. But Mahi Mahi zones can be a bit fickle, especially while the water level is still up. Both these 2 teams are fairly confident with their general playstyles. The only major change I see really is the Frozen Pro coming out on the side of Duck Motif using the tendon muscles they think might be the key here to fight against Usagi Fanclub.
And giving yourself a little bit more range, both sides now with the Stamper. No more S-Blast will we have. Interesting choice, because I would assume this map is great for camping those ledges, but Stamper does that job pretty much the same on that left side. With Duck Motif getting that opening 3 picks, it does allow them to get early control of the zone, but Usagi Fanclub punching right back with their crab.
Yeah, Specials being committed to keep the Duck Motif out and put them back to their spawn. A good flip of the fight here in mid. Usagi Fanclub keeps this momentum going. Booyah Bomb is being used to counteract the tendon muscles to keep themselves alive, and now the lead gap is going to be closed here in just a moment. Leaf just holding onto the killer whale for as long as they can, picking up the tactical to go on the offensive, and with 4 points remaining, the water level will drop now, and the map has opened up, means we're in open season for the remainder of this game. Duck Motif has a lot more room to play with, and now immediately they get 1 pick to kick this fight off.
Yes, but the points are ticking down. Red Shell moving in with the Zipcaster, trying to cause any form of distraction. Poking away at these ledges will allow the rest of Duck Motif to rally into the zone, but you have to think that Usagi Fanclub are just waiting for them, waiting for the opportunity to move in. And yes, there it is right there. A quick retake is had by Usagi Fanclub, trying to hold on with everything that they have. This map is notorious for its lockouts in zones in particular, just given the nature of having to drop down into these zones, and you kind of see it put into effect here, as with Duck Motif getting that secure control of that zone. They're poking away at the rest of Usagi Fanclub.
And you can tell by how Duck Motif is playing that they've had enough from that last game. They want it on this set here and now, and so they're doing everything they can to keep momentum in their favor, going on the aggressive, getting these single out picks, single out players to keep player advantage in their side. Booyah Bomb and Crab Take and Tactical are online for the Usagi Fanclub to flip the fight, but 3 specials committed is a bit of a steep cost, as Duck Motif is looking to try and re-engage, and they were so close to taking the lead there, but it just wasn't quite enough.
Not a lot of penalty points to go through if you're on the side of Usagi Fanclub. An early pick onto the side of Duck Motif with that Stamper going down could buy the time necessary to continue to eat away at this lead. It is a very slim lead nonetheless, but a nice shot from Bandit could open the door for Duck Motif themselves. Here come the specials from Usagi Fanclub. You have the crab being there, just poking away, threatening the members of Duck Motif, and even taking them out on that right side. The missiles won't gain much value here, as the Booyah Bomb will counteract that space being had. You have 2 players on the side of Duck Duck Motif going along that right side, Leaf camping over this ledge. They are taken out and could provide Duck Motif a little bit of breath to tie to take the zone, but it won't be enough as Usagi Fan Club hold firm by the skin of their teeth. You see the zone there pretty much in orange, but not capped in time, as don't blink yet. Usagi Fan Club have punched it right back, and now we are at set point.
With a good rotation of specials, Usagi Fan Club saw the checkmate scenario and used everything at their disposal to make sure that, once again, to make sure Duck Motif can't set up. Once Duck Motif has that footing on their ground and has the wind under their wings, they can absolutely soar and steal this game away. But without that momentum, they unfortunately have struggled a little bit on these retakes. Usagi Fan Club recognizes at this point and doing everything they can to keep that from happening. And now moving to Game 5 scenario, a potential reverse sweep. We're heading to Crab Leg Capital to see if Usagi Fan Club can keep this momentum up, or will Duck Motif stomp out the dream?
Yeah, a map that is very difficult to deal with if you're dealing with an E-leader, and guess what Duck Motif has? Just given the nature of the grades, the high ground advantages that it can have, but not only that, the very difficult flanks that are presented within this map. These are obstacles that these teams will have to navigate, but Usagi Fan Club have the momentum behind their backs so far, forcing Duck Motif to try to change up their comp several times, and yet again you see it change. The pro now switching to the OG kit with Crab and Red Shell, moving back to an Octobrush.
See, I'd get maybe the Forge Pro, but seeing the Vanilla Pro after all this time is a bit jarring, and I do wonder exactly why they want to bring this weapon specifically, but I guess it's working in their favor, as Duck Motif had a very solid opening on their side. Tactical and online means that they're looking to try and fight right out the gate, but Usagi Fan Club is not letting that happen that easily. They're just planting the ground on the feet and just holding the ground as best they can.
And to answer your earlier question, I believe that pro is being brought out just to have that crab, but it is being quickly shredded here by Leaf, who managed to kick off 3 with taking out that crab. That is a delayed wipeout, as Usagi Fan Club still hot on their heels, just bringing it all towards Duck Motif, as they will take a very quick lead, with Speczel also holding a Booyah Bomb in their pocket as well, ready to receive this hit.
Yeah, and now Usagi Fan Club once again knows the win condition for this game. Use their specials to make sure that E-leader in particular can't set up and get a lot of power and presence to Duck Motif. Usagi Fan Club using their specials to keep everything in check, in line. Usagi Tough using the crab take, slowing the momentum down. Duck Motif now are in a bit of a hard space right now. There's 15 ticks remaining on the zone. They have to move it now if they want to stay alive for this game and prevent the reverse sweep happening. But Usagi Fan Club knows the win condition and takes this game down to a clean 100-0.
And that is just the definition of a hot hand right there. Usagi Fan Club found a little bit of life in that game 3 and never looked back. They looked even better and better until this game 5, their most dominant win of this set, completely keeping Duck Motif from even having an opportunity to get real strong zone control, and they take that upset in a reverse sweep, like you mentioned, 3-2 to go to grand finals, where they'll be facing off against Pusheen Cat.
Oh man, what a set that was for Usagi Fan Club, from a very rough opening against Duck Motif and that E-leader comp. Time and time again, they show that they're slowly figuring out how to fight against it. And once they had that fourth game going forward, they knew the exact win conditioning. They knew exactly what they needed to do, and they committed to that exact game plan, being able to bring that reverse sweep to alive. And now we're here in grand finals with Usagi Fan Club clawing their way out from the brink of almost being sent home, now fighting against Pusheen Cat.
And you saw the standard that Usagi Fan Club had. They did not waver with their comp at all after getting that game 3 victory. They remained firm with what worked, forced the other team in Duck Motif to adapt to them, and they still held firm, looking even better every single time. You saw that Gal opening things off with that presence, just completely shutting down any Duck Motif advance. And now it is up to them to see if they can continue this hot streak against a very tough Pusheen Cats team with a lot of familiar names. I'm sure you recognize some of them, Dark.
Yeah, I mean, we see. I'm looking at least a good chunk of free flow here. Looking at Joven, better known as JJ, Adapt, and Len. It is very. I'm not trying to like say anything with Usagi Fan Club, but people know Free Flow for a reason. They're very much a hot level team, a top level team right now, doing extremely well on top of that too. You know, doing extremely well in the NA League, I believe, either last week or the week before. And so Usagi Fan Club did manage to beat another top level NA League, at least in terms of NA League, you know, a top level team for it that on that end with Duck Motif. But moving forward, the Titans that you're fighting is not done yet. Usagi Fan Club has one heck of a fight in front of them.
I mean, hey, you kind of determined that would be what they'd be going up against in Duck Motif. They are the number 1 seed for a reason. They were winning that NA League preseason week, and look at what Usagi Fan Club just did to them in a reverse sweep. We will have our maps in store for us. Taking a look at things that you see there, a familiar map there in game 5, Urgent Underpass. If necessary, could prove to be very, very chaotic. But before we get to that, let's start off with Barnacle and Dime, a classic as always.
Yeah, Barnacle and Dime, we've seen it already, and we love it here in the community. A relatively flat and open map. A lot of different weapons can actually prosper here, but really, I would be surprised if I don't see a charger of some kind. We do see the double pencil coming out from both sides here, so a bit more standard and inline teams line up here. But I am eyeing the Brella that JJ's bringing here.
Yeah, of course, not a really particularly commonly seen weapon. You saw with the most recent paint buffs could provide a little bit more onto zones, but at least not in that opening fight, as Usagi Fan Club surges forward now with those first 2 opening picks. But here comes the counter with the pen.
Yeah, a good hold here from Usagi Fan Club prevents Pusheen from actually getting their momentum, getting their proper footing here in mid. JJ trying to go and using that Inkjet at the ready to hopefully threaten Usagi Fan Club as best they can, but no, unfortunately gets picked out almost immediately. Now Usagi Fan Club is just doing their best to keep a hold of mid. A good pick off of that pencil, keeps momentum on their side. Usagi Fan Club is fueling it as they're just keeping this momentum forward and forward.
And this is something similar to what we saw on Crab Lake Capital. Usagi Fan Club putting the pedal to the metal and never looking back. Now in a very weird situation, you have to move forward with this hammer tickle, just looking for an opportunity to find more. Players are down now, 3 on the side of Usagi Fan Club. If there's any time to go, it is now. You have the players moving in, Leaf being taken out now, with them staggering. A great opportunity and a great push from Pusheen Cat to keep this one alive. But as we know, Usagi Fan Club fight rough. They are not going to give it up without any resistance here, as you see them continuously poking into the zone with this crab as well to pop.
Ooh, and the Booyah Bomb staring on the crab is not something you want to see as the Booyah Bomb user, but in the midst of all that chaos, Pusheen Cat is able to retake the zone once again and run away with just a few additional extra points, but the Booyah Bomb from Usagi Fan Club is going to shut down that push and just completely flush out Pusheen Cat, but not without a jump, and Belladonna gets one. Can they get another with the crab, with the hammer? Gets 2, 3 down from Usagi Fan Club, and the fight was flipped just like that in a matter of seconds, and Pusheen Cat is now in control of mid here.
Yes, Len waiting for anybody to move forward. Penalty points completely gone, so a potential comeback attempt can be had by Pusheen Cat, especially with the cooler now being popped. Len moving forward, cornering these 2 members of the side of Usagi Fan Club on that left side, but JJ pushed back because of this crab kind of being the ace for Usagi Fan Club to always initiate their pushes. Here come the Booyah Bomb and the whales as well. Pretty much all specials being invested on Usagi Fan Club's retake, and they will be rewarded with the zone and with a 3-player down situation on the side of Pusheen Cat.
A good hold from Usagi Fan Club, but we can't count Pusheen Cat out just yet. They did manage to close the gap quite considerably with their points, with only about a 25-point differential now between these two teams at this point. Usagi Fan Club now down 3. Pusheen Cat looking to try and push the momentum here, push their advantage here, get one, almost getting away with 2 additional more picks from Belladonna there, but unfortunately does get shut down. And now we see Specs now looking to try and get another. JJ unfortunately going down, as now Usagi Fan Club looking to try to keep a push going here.
Both sides holding Booyahs, holding coolers now as well. This fight is going to potentially decide it all now. Who will the picks go to? First opening pick goes to Pusheen. You have Leaf and Spec fighting this 2v2 on this right side, but JJ still remains alive just enough for the rest of Pusheen Cat to rally along them, and with that, Elite will be had. Booyah Bomb is still in the hands of Usagi Fan Club, but will it be placed in time? It will, but it needs to go in soon, as with 2, now 3 players, a wipeout to be had. It won't be enough to cap the zone as Pusheen Cat roar right back to take game 1.
Yeah, I mean, Pusheen Cat had a bit of a rough start in the beginning. They weren't able to keep up with the Usagi Fan Club, but as time went on, as the game continued, the Pusheen Cat started to saw some of the weaknesses that was employed from Usagi Fan Club and started to take advantage of that. And now, at the end game, they were able to completely flip all these fights and just take away that first game onto their side, moving into game number 2.
And I kind of want to go back to that match, just giving props again to JJ to stay alive on that left side near that plat area, allowing themselves to still hold firm. That is the power of that umbrella shoot, forcing those players to just, you have to focus on JJ. They're just standing in that corner, and JJ was able to stay alive just long enough for Len and the rest of Pusheen to move in. Not only that, you saw a lot of movement from Tickle, just constantly taking some attention away themselves. That has just been the strength of Pusheen Cat, to have these weapons that force you to look at them. But of course, Usagi Fan Club, you can't count them out. Of course, remember last time you quote-unquote counted them out was in the previous match, and they came roaring back in that set. So they've been in a position before where they've been in disadvantaged, and we go to Splat Zone's Mahi.
Yeah, I think right now it is in Pusheen's best interest to try and make sure they can close these games out as fast as they can. For the longer they give Usagi Fan Club the time to realize what exactly Pusheen is doing, the more time they have to actually prep and try and counteract that those strategies, and being able to pull off potentially yet another reverse sweep here. But before we can get to that sort of area, we still need to get through this second game here. A good opener by Pusheen Cat gets 2 down almost immediately from Usagi Fan Club.
Cooler to be had as well. You have them warming up a bit as Len poking under this left side. Same thing with Tickle, just those 2 weapons that have such powerful chipping ability, really strong. But I keep saying it, Usagi Tough with the crab, finding those key picks onto the backlines has been the ace for Usagi Fan Club to open the door and really allow them to get those retakes going right.
Yeah, I mean, you said it best. Usagi Tough really has extraordinary grab tanks too, and I haven't seen a grab tank that they've yet to use that hasn't been of value. And because of that initial push with that grab tank, they're able to take this all the way down to 50 points and counting with the water level drop, giving a lot of more room for both these 2 teams to play around with. But Pusheen Cat taking advantage of that immediately takes Usagi Fan Club a few players down, looking to try potentially get a delayed wipeout here. Usagi Tough forced to use grab tank to stay alive a little bit longer, as they're looking to see if they can potentially at least contest the zone for as long as they can.
JJ managed to find one onto that crab tank user right after they were unable to really get much value about it, forcing out Spec's Booyah Bomb as well. But still, Usagi Fan Club looking very strong in the opening doors, opening moments of this. It's little swim there, a little not quite being aware of where they are. Will lead to Pusheen Cat moving forward now. Tickle trying to take this fight, managing to find one to leave another one onto that splash as well. And here is the rest of Pusheen Cat right behind him. That has just been a strength that I love to see. Everybody rallying to their teammates, and it is causing an absolute bloodbath on the side of Usagi Fan Club.
One thing Pusheen does so extraordinarily well here is, as you mentioned, is their team play, being able to instantly swap between players as these fights go on to hold the ground, hold the momentum, hold their territory is really giving Usagi Fanclub a lot of trouble for what it's worth. And now with only 10 seconds remaining, Usagi Fanclub are trying to make a breakaway for the zone here to try and see if they get a consensus, they can get a potential flip here, being forced to use the killer will to hopefully push JJ back, but it is not enough for them as they do unfortunately get pegged out, but the damage has been done. Usagi Fanclub flips the zone and gives them a heavy amount of penalty points.
Usagi Fanclub at least living to fight another day, but Pusheen Cat will be right back in business with control of the zone. Usagi Fanclub now just has to get in a really strong retake, a tall task, just given the weapons that Pusheen Cat has been able to just poke away with. Len just waiting for an opportunity here, trying to find an opening with Tickle by their side, trying to poke away, causing these pretty much 1-2 punches you have. You know how deadly Viper can be under these ledges as the penalty points tick down to the 20-point mark. You have Usagi Fanclub building these specials. They have to gain some value, and here comes that signature crab, always poised to get the zone, it seems, and right on cue like clockwork, Usagi Fanclub are right back in business in zone.
Yeah, and just like that as well, that's potentially going to be a delayed wipeout in favor of Usagi Fanclub, sending Pusheen Cat all the way back to the spawner. A good hold here on mid as we head to the final minute of this game. Caterpillar online for Usagi Fanclub, so this next team fight is going to go in the favor of Usagi Fanclub no matter how you slice it up with Belladonna. Gets one with a hammer throw, potentially looking to get another, but slowly backing away. With the wheel bomb being thrown on the zone means that it can flip instantly and cause a little bit of chaos and disruption to Usagi's Fanclub's territory.
Yes, it seems Usagi Fanclub is not letting this one go lightly, just constantly being able to live to fight another day. Not a lot of penalty points to really work with. JJ does have their jetpack available to use here, waiting for opportunity, but who of course has their crab? It is Usagi. Here comes the hammer though from Tickle, right on cue to shut down that crab. No more of that funny business, says Tickle with a hammer to boot as well onto Leaf. Right back in it is Pusheen Cat. It seems like the back and forth has only intensified here, Dark, with the final 30 seconds of this match remaining.
Yeah, at this point, there's realistically only one team fight left in this game to decide who comes out on top. Pusheen Cat looking to try at least stall this out for as long as they can, knowing that if the timer hits 0, they will be the victors here. But Usagi Fanclub have no choice but are forced to engage onto Pusheen Cat to hopefully try and flip a fight, flip the zone as best they can. They do manage to flip the zone, and we potentially might see an overtime scenario here, but JJ does have Inkling online, coupled with the tactical means that they can go on the offensive without too many repercussions here. Overtime is called. The hammer from Belladonna comes out, picks up one, Booyah bomb being thrown out. We see Inkling used, and just like that, Pusheen Cat holds the zone and takes game number 2.
Yeah, and we were talking about it earlier in that match, just the ability for Pusheen Cat to pretty much throw themselves at Usagi Fanclub, but here's the key distinction. Do it together with the power of friendship and pretty much take these 2v1s. You saw there on that right side, throwing themselves into the fire into the enemy. You saw whenever JJ or Tickle or Len or Sunny just were in danger, there was always a teammate to come to their aid. And we saw at the very end as well, Tickle on that Viper. It seems like the hammer always finds one. Keely managing to find Ryu on that crab on the side of Usagi Fanclub, shutting them down, and again, breaking the stalemate, breaking the back and forth pattern you typically see at this level of play. That sometimes is all it takes to get victory and get that advantage, and we saw it play out really nicely for Pusheen Cat.
Yeah, and now as we head into game number 3, hopefully, if we want to see the greatest reverse sweep back-to-back here in SOS, hopefully Usagi Fanclub has recognized that the team play that is Pusheen Cat key to victory here. How well they coordinate and play with each other is absolutely how they've managed to keep pretty much stealing away these past 2 games here. Moving into Hellfish Market, I do want to see Usagi Fanclub at least try and attempt to find a counter to that team play, maybe trying to commit these specials into these early team fights to try and guarantee a flip into their favor or whatnot. It's this point where your back's against the wall, grand finals at stake, that you really have to pull all the stops now.
You took the words right out of my mouth. All of the stops need to be deployed here, especially since Splatoon really just relies on sometimes who has the hot hand. And we saw from the very beginning that Pusheen Cat seemed to control that game with Mahi bringing it all the way down to that point total. So at the very least, Usagi Fan Club needs to find a stop here early to throw off Pusheen Cat's game, because so far they have been completely on fire. But will there be any changes? None major. So yet again, Usagi Fan Club running it back with this same comp. Can they pull off the impossible, or will Pusheen Cat close it out here? We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, as both teams make a breakaway, they know exactly what each other's game plan is at this point. And now it's the question of who can execute the counter strategy better. 1 pick, 2 picks down for Usagi Fan Club. Route the K. It means that Pusheen Cat is at an extraordinary advantage here, especially with Tactical online, especially with Hammer online. Belladonna getting one. Looking to try and get another with the throw. Unfortunately, whips as they are taken down immediately.
Yeah, strong opening from Pusheen Cats is the nature of them. You have the Gal Leafy going down yet again as well. Len with that Booyah Bomb. The specials for Pusheen Cat to really deny this crab that has been the lifeline, the bread and butter of Usagi Fan Club has been a very nice adaptation to see from Pusheen Cat. You have Spec moving along this left side, however, to see if they can clean up this fight against JJ. Here comes the Zipcaster. The teammates are there to assist them, but they will only assist in causing more blood to be drawn, as Spec will find that nice double to open the door for Usagi Fan Club to take this lead right back.
And that's exactly what I was talking about, committing these specials to these team play fights to try and get those instant picks and instant flips for the fight. And because of that, Usagi Fan Club not only runs away with points on the zone, they're running away with the lead, extending it further and further. But unfortunately, in the midst of that, 2 players go down for Pusheen Cat. They commit their own specials just to try and retake the zone. But it's starting to not be as worth it there as 1 goes down, 2 goes down, 2 down on each side. It's a bit of a chaos madhouse here in mid.
Yes, Spec trying to stay alive, being bombarded by bombs, by pen shots, by everything. Still holding firm and trying to contest this zone. You have Zipcaster almost ready, and here it is. You saw how dangerous it can be initially, but now being a supportive role, causing a distraction just enough for Leaf to move in, find a nice double, and you see Usagi Fan Club bouncing right back. This is exactly what you need now with backs against the wall, showing up, applying that pressure, turning the tables on Pusheen Cat, who now have to perform this really difficult retake. You do have 3 specials to go in with now, all your specials available, so Usagi Fan Club better watch out just like that with that hammer being able to take out the crab.
Yeah, I think Usagi tunnel visioned a little bit too hard on the inkjet there and was able to get picked off immediately by the hammer there. But unfortunately, not enough damage was done there, as both of these 2 teams are still playing it out. And mid, see who can come out on top with the painting of the zone. No one has come out and the victor just yet. Booyah Bomb was committed, but it was not enough. 2 down for Pusheen Cat, but it's still not enough. Usagi Fan Club finally being able to capture the zone. Looking to move in to clear up the rest of Pusheen Cat.
Crab almost ready for Usagi Fan Club as well to utilize to receive the next incoming hit. 2 players down for the side of Pusheen Cat will leave them reeling, trying to live to fight another day as they try to recollect themselves. Penalty points will almost surely be gone here, no longer a factor for Usagi Fan Club, as you have Tickle moving around the side, managing to find an opening pick onto CJ, but with 3 down in total for the side of Usagi Fan Club, this is the lucky break that Pusheen Cat needed to survive what looked like a very roaring attack.
And now Usagi Fan Club on the defensive now, trying to get break through this wall that Pusheen Cat has. Especially with Tactical Online, it's going to be a hard thing to do, but specials are coming online for Usagi Fan Club. We do see Booyah Bomb getting used to get ready for this incoming push here, but it doesn't seem to catch anyone just yet. Tactical was online for Usagi Fan Club. They're looking to try to get the momentum going forward, but they have to move in now. Penalty points are gone for Pusheen Cat. Pusheen Cat is just trying to buy some time, as much time as they can, see if they can officially close the lead there, but JJ gets 1, gets 2 on top of the 10, and I do believe that's going to be a huge lead taken and a huge swing in favor for Pusheen Cat. I don't think Usagi Fan Club can make it back in time, but there's just too much happening here. Not enough time. Pusheen Cat takes this 3-0.
And that's just the nature of Pusheen Cat coming roaring back what looks to be a very promising Usagi fan club game. What looks like the beginning of another reverse sweep. Pusheen Cat stops it right in its tracks. A really nice flank started off by Tickle to get around, to destroy that pen, and allowing the rest of Pusheen Cat to move in without having to worry about getting poked out. This is the nature of Pusheen Cat. Pure, just on the same page, and just knowing where to be. It's almost like clockwork. This is awesome to see that everybody was just in the right places at the right time. And to close it out, you saw Len just poking away at those players of Usagi fan club, desperate to dive onto the zone to save it, but a dominating performance there that we saw.
Yeah, it's really just, I think that end game there for that game number 3 really just showed the best that was Pusheen Cat. Just that team play of just constantly covering each other, constantly being able to be there for those fights. It was such a sight to see, and it goes to show as to why they came out on top here 3-0 against Usagi fan club, who made a glorious reverse sweep against the Motif in the previous set. And so Usagi fan club has a lot going for them. Don't count them out just yet. Their special coordination and their special usage, might I add, is nothing to be to scoff at. But what a set that was!
Yeah, and you see, in a similarly dominating fashion, Cherry Up Top, who was able to get a game off of Pusheen Cat in semifinals, swept Duck Motif in that third place match. So your top 3 is set: Pusheen Cat, Usagi Fan Club, and Cherry Up Top being your top 3 of Great White for the Swimmer Sync, number 203. GG's, really good job for the rest of the bracket as well. As you see here, this is how Great White played out. But with that being said, I believe that is the end for our stream here at IPL. Congratulations to Pusheen Cat. Of course, as always, Dark, you know the drill. Where can the people find you?
You can find me at SPF Dark on most social media websites, but more often than not, you'll most likely hear my voice time and time again across the multiple organizations we have here in the community, either here in IPL, CCA, Dapple Productions. I am literally all over the map in Rocket. Where can they find you, buddy?
Yeah, you can find me at Rocket1 on Blue Sky, right down there. Oh, never mind, you don't see anymore, but it is Rocket1 at Blue Sky. You can also find me at Rocket_Splat, excuse me. On Twitch, I stream whatever I'm doing in Splatoon competitive that day. So with that being said, thank you all for watching. Shout out to Justin, of course, being our wonderful streamer, and we will see you next week for the next edition of Swimmer Sync.